రే నా స్క్రీన్ రికార్డ్ అవుతుంది. ఫోన్ లో ఒకసారి కట్ చేసి ఫోన్ లో చేయను. For 4 national and 1 international conferences. So I think that backs up my statement that her words are indeed magic. So without any further delay, let's hand off the meeting to her and let's make this session start. Thank you, ma'am. Can you proceed?
Thank you so much, Aparna, for such a wonderful introduction. A very warm good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank every one of you that on a fine Sunday afternoon, you are here. 5.5 week examination. We are present here. Listen to me. Indeed, myself feel proud that you people being here in the form of a webinar. Let's keep this a very interactive session, and I want you all to be very active over the Q&A chat box. Just Aparna, can you please confirm, am I audible clearly?
Yes, ma'am. Now you are clear, but in between you're losing your signal. Can you once check that issue?
Yes, sure. Just a second. Now I'm audible, I hope, right?
Yes, ma'am. You are audible now.
Just do let me know when it's not audible or there is an interruption.
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Okay. So I want you all to be very active over the Q&A session, because in a Sunday afternoon, I don't want you all to be just listening to me. I want you all to be actively participating. Okay. So, chalo, let's begin with a small story that I would like to tell you all. A girl who was in her intermediate examination. It was around July 2021. She already gave 5 attempts of intermediate examination and was there in May 2021 when all of her colleagues were given CA final examination. She was there writing intermediate examination, depressed that my graduation is also over. Within a month or within a year or so, the articleship will also be over. So what to do next? What to do? Very depressed, sad. All my friends are becoming chartered accountant, and what I'm like in intermediate. In September 2021, intermediate examination, she cleared her intermediate examination. May 2022 was her finals first attempt, standing on 19 September 2021 with no tuitions done, with no final tuitions done, no GMCS done, no advanced ITT done, articleship still going on, and just 6 months to examination. That girl, September 21, she stepped into finals with no tuitions, and November 22, she became a chartered accountant. Sounds interesting, right? Or sounds still confusing? Sounds interesting, right? This girl is not no one other than me. In September 21, I cleared my intermediate, and in November 22, I cleared my final examination. In just 1 year, I did all the final tuition, did self-study, advanced ITT, GMCS, articleship still going on, and apart from that was holding the position of vice chairperson at my branch. So how did I manage to do all these things? To keep that curiosity with you, I'll first begin with the first part of our preparation, that is tips and tricks for effective exam preparation. First of all, I would like to tell you all that keep your brain empty as of now. Because what you all will be wondering that there are so many contents available on YouTube. We can watch these n number of YouTubes, the Quora things. Then why we are here? A good question to ask to yourself, right? Because you all are sure that you will get something new. So be here with your empty mind so that you can absorb what I'm saying and you can get at least something to take away with you. First of all, tips and tricks for effective exam preparation. I would like to quote with my examples. I would like to state with you all that first thing first, don't let that thought inside you. He to clear the examination in so less time. He to give 3 mock test papers. After that, he cleared the examination. Every individual is unique. I am different. You are different. He is different. Everybody pattern of learning is different. If I can mug up audit in 3 hours, might for the same page you require only half an hour or even 1 hour. So stop comparing your preparation from the level of preparation the other person has. Everyone has our own different capacity or the intellectual mind. Second thing I want you to wash away with is don't go into the trap of syllabus. ICAI has prescribed fixed syllabus to be followed, and that is the only source available to us. We have fixed modules and we have fixed syllabus. Don't go do this chapter and you will pass, and that after that you will be like I too did everything that why that because of that also I didn't got cleared. Don't fall into trap of that. We have a fixed syllabus. ABC analysis is something different that I will talk about later, but be sure that you don't compare yourself with others. Let's begin with our tips and tricks for the effective examination preparation. First of all, syllabus. Syllabus is the first and the foremost important thing. What I used to do is on a piece of a paper, I used to write the complete chapters that is available on the ICAI portal or from the module, that this is my exact syllabus from where the questions will come. You don't need to see any other YouTube video or ask to any other person, tell me now which chapters I can do so that I can clear the examination. No one is ICAI. No one can ever tell that do these chapters and you will clear the examination. What they also do is to take out a detailed analysis by studying the syllabus provided by the ICAI and give you a brief overview that how you can divide it into the categories so that you are able to prepare for the examination. So first and the foremost thing, write down the syllabus that yes, this is the SFM subjects, this is the 9 chapters that I have, and from there you go for any ABC video which gives the detailed analysis based on the syllabus marking pattern and past exam preparations. Let me tell you one thing. This November 22 examination that I gave, trust me on the fact that many questions were there from the chapters which were least expected. Least expected. So second piece of guidance is do whatever chapter you do properly. I used to just keep one thing in my mind that what if I do this chapter, there are suppose eight pages in that chapter, I do 7 pages and the question comes from the 8th page. Till 7 I did very good. And the eighth page was very tired. I was like, no, it's almost done. I read it now, it's almost done, it's okay. And the question comes,
Ma'am, you are stuck
imagine
again.
the effort given to do that complete chapter, and now you cannot answer the question from that chapter.
Yeah, you are stuck again. And your voice is not clear.
Okay, just a second, I'll change the I apologize for the inconvenience. I think now it won't be any issue. Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am, it's clear now.
I think we should not trust our hostel's Wi-Fi. We should be rely on ourselves only. So now I have connected my own hotspot. So I hope this time it doesn't create any problem. So none of you is asleep now. Everyone is waking. Can I have a thumbs up or something? I like there are 138 participants. I trust me on the fact that I am here to teach you guys how to manage stress, exam preparation. And as I was seeing attendees' mind going on, it was my heartbeat was going faster and faster. So please be active. We are 140 over here. The loud can be seen. I can at least feel the loud. Okay, now I think people are awake. Don't worry. I'll just quickly and very briefly tell you that how I managed to do everything. And whenever I'm not audible now, please let me know also. Okay. Yeah. The second thing that I was telling you is with which chapter you do it properly. Third is the reading. How many of you remember that in our school days, the teacher used to ask one people from each row to read a paragraph, and they asked to go and read and everything? Do you know why it was done? Because when we read something repeatedly, the stories that we used to listen in the school or the chapter stories that were there, without even knowing or without even properly mugging up the question answers, we were able to recall what exactly the story was. If it was about three poor people or something like that, because of that active reading. So for the subjects like law, audit, you take out 15 minutes or half an hour time for just reading it. You just read it, whether you understand, don't understand, that spare time of yours will act like wonder. Fourth thing that I want to tell is what make a to-do list. In the morning itself, when I used to wake up, I just used to dot down the chapters that I will be doing today. Like for example, I'm doing goods and service tax for that day. So I'll note down that today from this I will be doing input tax credit, this topics and everything. So there is a to-do list in front of me the entire day. That the satisfaction you will get when at the end of the day you will strike off is you cannot even compare you cannot even compare the feeling with anything else. That satisfaction you will feel that, oh my God, I did my target today, I completed it properly. And from the next day you will feel the change when there are 4, 5, 7 columns for the day or something like that. You have completed the 3 days. The fourth day, even if you are not able to complete or you're not able to do that, you will feel, no, I should complete it before going to the bed. That striking off will give you a sense of satisfaction. That is not even comparable. Next thing I want to say is don't compile every books. I think I just want, I'm saying these things out of the box is because there are n number of YouTube contents available on YouTube, LinkedIn, friends. And why to leave the relatives who believe that CA students go to college for preparing for the examination? They also are there for giving n number of tips and tricks to us. So I want you to share something different from my experience that you won't get anywhere else, or might be you get, but I want to give you the backup that yes, I got through it and I believe that it worked as a wonder. Now, next coming up is never compile books. What happens when there is so much cluster over here? Example, metro. There is a metro. There are so many people over here. We all are wondering, like goods, GST, we have to study GST also, SFM also, FR also. Oh my God, EIS, I left that chapter. The amount of books you will keep on your table, you will start feeling, oh my God, that chapter, EIS, second chapter, that answer I'm not able to recall. Oh my God, that FR question, oh my God, I left that question. That was my doubt and something like that. So this will be constant thing in your mind if you see lots and lots of books in your place. So instead, try and go with one book at a time. Don't go with everything at the same time. Make proper schedule for the proper one subject that you will be reading at a time. I know every one of you here are human beings and not aliens and cannot study two subjects at the same time. You are mugging up audit as well and solving the practical question as well. You will be studying one chapter at the same time. So focus on that particular chapter and live in the present moment. One more thing I want to say, that active recalling, it's a proven fact, and there is a feeling of guilt inside also, that you will start feeling that I to properly did this chapter, I marked it up so well, I did this question, but why I'm not able to recall when I'm doing the second or the third revision? Because that's a tendency of human brain. We tend to forget things. So active recalling is something that is very important. And trust me, over here, I'm not going to tell about that you do every day you recall, every day you take up the subject you did previously and make it again, recall it, again study. It's not possible. Let's be very clear and practical over here, that it is very difficult to manage time within a short span of time. It's difficult to complete one chapter also, to complete one subject also, and also to take up the previous subject or the chapter. For that, there is a one amazing technique that I used to do is, when I used to do the first reading of the chapter, I used to make the short notes. Like, for example, CA final examination, direct taxation. Everyone calls it as an ocean of syllabus. And indeed it is. Direct tax has a very good amount of syllabus. When I did the first reading, I made notes of myself. That short notes of myself, I mark my words over here, that it will cost you some extra time when you're doing the first reading, but in the subsequent readings, it will act as a wonders. What I used to do is, after direct tax, when I took up the next subject, or even after that, just for half an hour a day, I used to take up my notes and used to recall from it. And 4 to 5 chapters I did in 30-35 minutes. Because if you take up the original book again from the next time, for the next time, it is as good as opening it for the first time. You will definitely have something in your mind, but you tend to forget some things. So it is very important to have your own notes. Try, it definitely works, because after that time, it becomes very easy for the active recalling process. That it gives you a sense of revision also. Now, coming to the next point, mock test papers. How many of you, raise your hands, how many of you have heard that if you don't give 3 mock test papers, you will not clear the examination? Raise your hands. Mock test paper to bahut zaruri hai. It's very important, very important. It's you have to give, you have to give. Raise your hands. N number of people. So how many of you think it is important? It is important, right? Indeed, it is, but it is not a compulsion. We have to understand that behind everything written or every point suggested to prepare for the CA examination, it is a suggestory, because it will help you, make you more close to your goals. But don't keep this in your mind that if I don't do this, I will not be able to clear the examination. Mock test papers are being suggested because it will help you give a sense that yes, I wrote the examination, I completely, all the points that I made. But because many students face this problem that I to have written all the answers, but I didn't got the marks. I say cut marks over here, cut marks over here. So don't run for this teachers and this. ICI conducts mock test examination. So if you have conducted, so if you have prepared, go and sit for those mock test papers, because it will help you analyze yourself, give you a confidence, a kind of a trailer before the actual picture. But don't get this thing in your mind that if I don't write mock test paper, I won't be able to clear it. It is highly recommended to go for and sit for the mock test papers, but don't make it that it's compulsion. Next is one last thing for the tips and tricks for effective examination. Keep your phone aside. It's very important that, listen, there's a fact that there might be some students who will do out of 24 hours, 10 hours they will do something, 2 hours they'll play cricket, 2 hours they'll play music, and then also clear the examination. There might be some extraordinary students, but CA exams require sacrifice. You need to let go certain things that is very important to you, or you're very habituated to it. After September 21, I mentioned I cleared my intermediate examination. In January, I won international conference. That day, when I stepped back off the stage, I decided that until and unless I don't clear my chartered accountancy examination, I won't stand back on the stage. That is something, public speaking is like a drug to me. I require it in very equal intervals, but that day I decided, because that this exams calls for your sacrifice. Now coming to the next part of how many of you think, let me tell you that I can see only 8 hand raised. There are 139 attendees. At least give me a hands up that you guys are not asleep. Otherwise, I will feel that you guys are asleep and I'm talking to this picture of Hemant. Good. Thank you so much. Like, I think 20-30% are not asleep. I hope I'm not that boring, right? Listen, it will work. Trust me, you will remember me. Now, next thing that I want to say is that how many of you feel that CA examination are not very kind of that rocket science or something like that? We all agree to it, right? The subjects are not very tough that we need to solve 2-3 pages of numericals or something like that. Then why it is called one of the toughest examination of the nation? The reason being because it requires your mental strength. It is not only about the intelligence question, but also your emotional intelligence, the emotional stability. I'll share one of my experience with you, and you will be really amazed that when I was in risk management examination, open book examination, I was writing the paper, and in the first hour, I got really struck. I couldn't find a single answer, just because of the fact that when I will go outside, what I will tell my friends and the other people that in open book examination, I wasn't able to make it. Then after 1 hour, I woke myself and I told, Prishita, you are in the examination. You still have time. Why are you saying after that? One more example, my SFM examination. The tuitions which I got had many old lectures. I only did 3 to 4 chapters. I cried a lot while doing FR and SFM. Like, we have exam preparation timetable scheduled for us. I had my crying schedule. But that time I realized either you give up or you take up. One quote that I heard, I remember till today, that the time will fly in its own speed. That is the bad news. But the good news is I am the pilot. I didn't give up, wrote SFM and FR examination, and very well cleared it in the first go. So emotional stability is very important. Everyone will say you that be strong, don't feel this, be happy. but it's not easy. It's not easy at all. It's okay to feel what are you feeling. Regarding all other points like time management and more points on how to prepare for tips and tricks for effective examination, we have three more speakers for that, and but two of them are all India rank holders, so I think they will be able to suggest more better on it. But I would like to say two or three more points that I felt, and I know it will be very helpful for you. Is like first of all, yes, that I was talking about, is it's okay to feel what are you feeling. If you're feeling the fear of flunking it up, let that sink in. It is a true feeling. You cannot avoid that. But don't let that overpower your emotional intelligence. Trust, be on the fact that exams will come, you have to appear, and the results will come. If you let that overpower your emotional intelligence, you will not be able to give it properly. Before my intermediate cost examination, I cried like hell because I was so scared to give the examination. But I don't know how, but I scored 68 in that with the very limited chapters I studied. Because I truly believe on the fact that once you overcome your feeling, you are there. Allow that feeling to be felt, but overcome it to be emotionally present over there. Second, if you feel disturbed of any factors, if you feel disturbed from any other, because of any other person, that I don't matlab that person is disturbing me, maybe my girlfriend or the boyfriend, or some family issues are there, some friends issues are there, remember just one thing. You are sitting here, in front of you is your laptop or the mobile in which you will be seeing the results, and if the fail comes up, that is not reversible. That is not reversible. That person won't come to help you out in any manner. You will be there sunking over that failed word. So whenever you feel, and trust me, it helps in the practical aspects also. Whenever you feel sleepy, whenever you don't feel like study, remember one thing, that if that day of results come and it is fail over there, it is irreversible. 6 months gone. I just calculated when I came here, joined Deloitte, my first salary was credited. I was just wondering that if I could have cleared my intermediate examination, this amount multiplied by 18 was already been credited in my account. That I felt at that time, had I taken those intermediate examinations seriously, the way I cleared my finals in the first attempt itself, this amount into 18, I don't even want to calculate. Next thing I want to say, that will definitely prove to you one point that I left earlier, and I want to tell you, is that make proper schedules. Don't act like a person that I want to study 21 hours a day, 18 hours a day. Just don't sit and keep on doing and doing and doing. Make proper schedules, have proper intervals. Make 3 hour slot if you're a morning person or an evening person. Make 3 hour slots, and in that in between 3 hour slot also, take 2 to 3 minutes break, but come back. If you have a proper schedule, like as I mentioned in the very first point itself, if you make a to-do list and accordingly make a schedule, you will understand the importance of time. Next, that a point I want to say is that for 30 minutes or 35 minutes, do something that you love to have, that you love to do. Like for example, for me, it was Tarak Mehta Ka Ulta Chashma. I don't know how many of you remember this show or have watched this show, but I require that show at least for 15 minutes a day. 15 minutes a day, I require that show to keep myself boosted up. So do whatever you like for 15 minutes. I'm not here to say to you that I'm not here to say that don't feel anything, study very good, study properly, just study and study. It's do your best. That is very important. If you do your best now, you will not regret after the results. You will, even if unfortunately some negative happens, you will not regret. But if you don't do your best now, it will be tough for you. Aparna, how much time we have?
Yeah, your session is until 2:55, so you can talk for 5-10 minutes and then start the Q&A.
Yeah, sure.
Your session is until 2:55. You can manage in your own way.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. Um, okay, so where I was, yeah, if you do your best, you won't regret afterwards, because I am the person who is a live example of this. How I came back or bounced back from intermediate examination is one thing I would just mention here, that the intermediate examination, I didn't took it seriously. I was just like puddling in. I used to participate in competitions, participate in competitions. The questions are there. There are very interesting questions, and I would love to answer that, but I'll keep it that for Q&A. We'll have Q&A for 15 minutes. I'll just speak for 5 more minutes and sum up what I said. Yeah, I was saying, what I was saying, I completely forgot. I was so engrossed in the question. Yes, I'll just sum up my all the points that I said. First thing is the exam tips and tricks that I gave, that you will be listening from the other participants as well. But I'll just sum up. First is mark the syllabus, mark the module you have, that is important. Have proper time schedule, make a to-do list that you will be completing that day, because it's very important. Strike off things you have completed. Use ABC analysis wisely. That helps you allocate the time properly. Questions, active recalling, make short notes. These things are the sum up that how to prepare for the examination now. Second is how to handle stress. For that, I would like to say is allow yourself to feel what you are feeling. Don't feel bothered that what I have to be very strong, I need to give exams, and just let that feeling sunk in, but don't let that overpower your intelligent question, because CA exams are not rocket science. There are way more examinations in the country that are very tough than this. But what makes this course very tough is the articleship, the duration, the attempts, the number of subjects, the syllabus, these extra factors makes it more tough, because we take the pressure over here. When I was in the November examination, that feeling that I'm already 1.5 years late, my friends became chartered accountant at 22 and I'll be becoming at 23 and a half. That feeling got me into a sheer depression. But after some time, I said, no, I am going through this phase alone with my parents, of course, but I'm the one who needs to study. So I don't need to bother myself or need to pressurize myself with the fact that what if I fail? How will I answer him? Who's he to answer? I am going through this and this is my life. I am giving my best. I have to give my best. Then I won't feel the regret. If you give your best, you won't feel the regret. So this is, and keep your mind, place, and the surroundings sorted. In our terms, keep it very sorted so that you don't feel the pressure or the clumsiness all around. So this was all from my side. I tried recalling because I didn't, I just jot down 3 to 4 points. I prepared anything for this webinar because I have gone to it. I have been there, done that. So I wanted to have a heart-to-heart conversation, whatever I felt. So let's move to the Q&A sessions. I'll just take the questions. Ma'am, as exam dates are near, we are not able to focus on studies. Why? You are not able to study on focus because you have not kept yourself a motive. Have you ever imagined that in the office, whenever the boss is not around, we tried to lazy it up. But whenever the boss is there, the productivity increases automatically by 30-40 times. We don't even know. We do efficiently, we do effectively. Get that boss for your studies also. If I don't study, then my clear motivation, whenever I used to not feel like study, I just remember 3 months, I just used to close my eyes, remember that today is this day, 3 months down the line, the result will be in front of me. It will be fail. How will I react? It will be pass. If I woke up now, sit on the table and do the efforts now. Just close their eyes. Just a second. Okay, like there's a question. Just close your eyes and remember the results. Remember, have that one motive in your life. If you chase after it now, you will definitely get off your bed and sit on the table. Have that one motive. Next question. Final law and audit. The question type may be knowledge and comprehension, application and analysis, evaluation and synthesis. How to identify the above focus of answers in the respective situation to how effectively the 15 minutes reading time be utilized. This law and audit question, what I will tell you, like from my November recent examination experience, law and audit questions are nowadays not very restricted to the book itself. They want you to give the answers from the book, but also at the same time, they want you to utilize your brain and give your point of view it, because understand this fact that we are moving towards the point where it is not only about the book and the mugging up. It is about how well you understood the concept. So these three categories, I will sum up that the questions are concepts based. From the concepts, from the question, you need to identify the concept. And from the concept, you need to identify the relevant question. And about the 15 minutes reading time, that 15 minutes reading time, there is a very widespread thumb rule that is being shared by everyone, is that identify the questions that you know. I just used to took a pencil in my hand. I used to read the 5-6 first part of the question. I remember, okay, mutual funds. I have done that chapter very well. This is the mutual funds question. I just used to mark it 1. I have done this chapter and this is the question from it. Have that confidence that if you have studied that chapter, this question you will be able to make it. So mark that question and then have a proper reading of that. So this is how you should prioritize your 15 minutes based on what you know, and to give the best shot in it out of those out in that time. Ma'am, I'm CA Inter student. November 23 is final attempt. 1 year left to complete articleship. Sorry, I didn't understood the question. Not understanding how to clear inter exams. Padho, study. There is no other way to clear the intermediate examination. Stand up, freshen up yourself, sit, study. Seek guidance for the subjects you are facing problems, whether it be audit or EISSM. Please suggest something at any cost has to clear May 23. May 23. It's only 5.5 months left. Or 5.5 months left. Give your best, study, and you can connect to me personally. As I very well mentioned in the first part itself, that every individual is different, their problem is different. And I want to share openly with you all that I was the person who didn't got any guidance. That's why I flunked in intermediate. But when I got the guidance in the final examination, I cleared it in one go. So any of you would like to connect, can connect me personally on LinkedIn. And don't worry, after 1 week, 2 week, I will not start charging for it. Book your appointment or something like that. It's absolutely free. I just want to help you because I don't want the thing which I suffered, any of you suffer. So you can connect to me, CA the mention. Ma'am, please could you please give some tips to remember section number and laws? Yes, there are basically, as per my opinion, there are two basic methods to remember section numbers. One is either you relate it with something unique, something interesting, that a game or some metaphor you relate with it to. And the next is you write it. When you write the section number, if you are practicing question answers also, or if you're practicing MCQ also, don't let that answer or MCQ go without mentioning the section number. For example, if you're something related to audit, you're solving MCQ, that answer doesn't require you to recall section number, but you recall and mark over there, okay, this question of MCQ is from this section number. So this will definitely help you a lot. How did you prepare for CA Foundation? Don't ask that. How did I prepare? Because I didn't give CA Foundation. I gave CA CPT examination. So it was very easy. So I won't be able to help with that. Ma'am, as exams dates are near, we are not able to on studies. Why? Because you haven't kept any motive for yourself. If you keep yourself motivated or sounds very boring, na? Keep yourself motivated or something. But have one motive, one goal. I want to study because if you are not feeling good, if you are feeling very emotions turned up, take 2 days break. Take a day or a 2-day break, but bounce back. But bounce back to give your exams at the best possible for you. What are your thoughts during examination, exam preparation? Don't ask what my thoughts are during exam preparation, ranging from my childhood, from my school days, the mistakes I did in my school days, why I didn't study when I was in intermediate past attempts, all kinds of thoughts you can ever imagine I had in my mind. But I only gave myself the motivation that past guilt won't help me now. It will even make my present worse. The fear of the future, what if I fail? What if I do this? Won't help me now. This is the present, what I'm doing. Like, for example, after this webinar, trust me, for 3 to 4 hours, I'll be in the constant thought so that I could have prepared other way. I could have delivered way more better. I could have done that. What these 140 participants must be speaking, what these organizers must be thinking that why we called her, she was so terrible. My constant thoughts would be that. But after that, I need to tell myself it's okay. It's done. Past is done. Whatever mistake you did, do not repeat it and focus on the future and the present. Not the future, present. Ma'am, how did you prepare for foundation? I'm sorry, Nitish. I don't be able to answer that. Ma'am, how did you prepare for CA foundation? Ma'am, it is possible to score exemption in theory papers. Absolutely, it is. Who said? You don't see the pictures of the teachers. Theory papers are not something that it is not possible to score exemptions in it. I scored exemptions in EISSM, audit, like even all the 6 subjects of intermediate examination. Yes. And in the finals also, I scored exemption in theory. It is very well possible. Just you have to understand the concepts and also remember, it's a theory paper. You have to focus what you are writing. But yes, the words of the original law is also very important to quote. So it's very, very easy. Ma'am, how did you prepare for CA foundation? What motivated you to clear intermediate after 5 attempts? 5 attempts was that I was not very well aware about the things. I was into public speaking. I didn't focus very well on the subjects. I took exams very lightly. And what motivated me is that I also had thought of leaving this course multiple times. But I just told to myself that if they can, then why not me? Matlab, I am pretty good. Why not can I? So I just thought that why don't I give it a try by giving my best? And it worked wonder. I cleared finals in the first go. So this motivated me because I had that goal in my mind, which I first mentioned. And of course, the thought that why cannot I? I can do this. I am capable. Ma'am, I'm unable to sleep because of fear. How to overcome it? It's very natural. Just the point of fear that I mentioned is that don't fear anything. There will be multiple things, multiple problems. Like I used to fear that my all the cousins, being from a Marwadi family, I have approx 13 chartered accountants in my family who all cleared in first attempt. So that fear that what if they ask my mother and she says that she's not cleared, then I said, why? This is my life. I am working hard. I go to articleship. I did morning and evening tuitions. I should not fear anyone. Just one thing I need to fear is that I need to give my best. I don't want that guilt that why didn't I study when I can. And one last thing before answering the question, please work hard because our parents are not forever. I'll just share one example with you because I really like to. After class 12, when I started teaching, the first salary that I was waiting, the first student I was waiting for my first salary to gift my grandfather a mobile on Diwali. The 1,000 rupees, it was a small mobile. And exactly 10 days before Diwali, he passed away. I didn't even knew. I was completely shattered. So after 5 years down the line, I became a chartered accountant. My grandmother was waiting for my salary because she was like, hey, we'll do this, we'll do that. And exactly the day I received my salary after becoming a chartered accountant, 5 days before receiving the salary, she passed away. So this is one thing that I would really like to share is that our parents are not forever with us. So working hard, this can be one of the motivation to work hard. I'll just go with the question. I have very less time left. CA Foundation. His high sister, whether articles is best in big four or medium firms. We'll not talk about articleship, we'll focus on exam. ABC analysis definitely works, but ABC analysis definitely works. It gives you a clear view that where to focus on best, where, if you have shortage of time, and where to give least importance. Like FR, if you see, there are 5 to 6 indices that are very important. And there are 10, 12, 15 indices that is collectively also not even worth it to one. So that ABC analysis is very important to channelize your efforts. Ma'am, how did you prepare for CA Foundation? I'm so sorry, I'm not able to answer that. I can suggest, ma'am, how to prepare for November exams to get air, that we have a All India ranks with us. They can very well answer this. Say some tips I did. I hope it will help you. How many years did it took to become CA for you, ma'am? I gave my CPT in July 2017 and in November 2022, I became the chartered accountant. So you calculate. Well, ma'am, exactly 1.5 years late from first attempt. That's what I know. Ma'am, due to kids 1.5 years old, I was not able to sit properly for preparation. Kindly suggest, kindly suggest how to go about it. Ma'am, what is the question? Can you please again mention? Ma'am, suggest books for reference and reading. Reference and reading, if you're saying, then focus on that module is the first and the foremost thing. But of course, apart from module, we all know, let's accept the fact that module is bit big, but for some subjects, it's very good, like GST. Back questions of modules are very good. If you are for that books for reference and reading, we need to go subject wise and the teachers. that we can connect. You can connect me on LinkedIn. Ma'am, how to make short notes? This is very important. Short notes is the thing, like for example, if there is a one paragraph, what exactly did I insert from this paragraph, or what is exactly the question from this paragraph? That that you can make the short notes. Siva Priya, you can personally message me. I'll share my DT and some short notes with you. You can get an idea because I'm getting short of time. पेरेंट्स और रिलेटिव्स को कैसे संभाला फेलियर के बाद? मोस्टली जो बोलते हैं सीए नहीं होगा, उन पे जो भी जो भी आपको बोलते हैं ना सीए नहीं होगा, just go and ask them which rank did you score. No, don't go really, but let them say. They will, definitely they will. And trust me, it's not like that even after becoming CA, you will be very happy or you will not get any taunt. Even after becoming CA, from the next day itself, the relatives were like, is she not placed yet? My dad is already placed with 20 LPA. Oh my God, it's almost 1 month. She's not placed yet. So they will be very constant. Even when you die, they will be there with you, taunting there also. So try to ignore them. Think I'm sort of time because we have other speakers and I don't want to take even a second of that. So thank you so much for a patient hearing. I was also a learning person. I hope you all liked the session and didn't asleep. So thank you so much for attending, and thank you so much, Aparna, for giving me the opportunity. And the rest, the questions I couldn't answer, you can connect on LinkedIn. I can personally answer over there. And that's not because I want to go get LinkedIn followers. I really want to answer those questions. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That's really a great session. I think you don't have to waste your 3 hours thinking how you did. You did really amazing, and we are very excited to see you. Moving on to the next speaker, I'm sure you people will be amazed. When I have sent his resume to my friend saying he's our next speaker, do you know what is his reaction? He was like, he has forgot to mention from which planet he's from. You know why he questioned that? He has secured 93% in his CPT and AAR 27 in IPCC and again AAR 41 in his final. Amazing, right? When we are struggling just to pass, he has always been on top all the time. I think he is the right person to say how to face these exams. He is C. Nikhil Kumar Reddy. He worked in Vedanta Limited as an associate manager and is currently working as assistant manager in finance and corporate planning in ITC. I'm really curious to hear him share his words. So let's welcome him.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Aparna, for such warm introduction. I hope everyone can hear me. Yeah, thank you, bro. And then I really want to thank Srishita as well. I think I was there in the session for a couple of minutes. She did it very well. And to start with, myself, Nikhil, I'm a qualified CA from November 20 batch. So today I'm here before you, all of you guys, to share with you my success strategy or preparation strategy, so that you can learn from whatever went well for me, and also you can try not repeating whatever errors or mistakes which I committed. So firstly, I wanted to thank Sikasa for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts with you guys. And then I really want to appreciate all of you guys. I can see 133 participants over there. So you guys really took out time on a Sunday to understand, to hear from the rankers or the speakers. So that's really a great effort, I should say. So coming to the point, so generally I believe there are two factors which determine a person's success in the examinations or in his life as. So one is the preparation. So when I say preparation, so I think with 1 month in your exams coming, I am sure most of you have rocked your preparation and you would be doing your preparation in the right direction. So here preparation refers to two things. One is reading preparation as well as writing preparation. I think the video is shaking. I think I think the camera quality is not that better, brother. I have to adjust. Yeah. Yeah. So when I say reading preparation, so one should focus on the concept. So one should not try to mug up the things as it is. Because in exam, you are not going to be awarded marks, or you are not going to be tested with whatever you have marked up. You will be questioned, or you will be tested basis the conceptual understanding you will be having. So always focus on concept. So always focus on how to approach a problem, how to approach a solution. It's not the one-liner answer which is going to get you a 10 marks or 16 marks or 8 marks. It's the process which you follow, which gives you the relevant marks. So that is the main thing. So always focus on the subject, always focus on the concept, what that particular index is saying, what that particular theory is saying. You should focus on that one. And then you always have like both at all the levels of CA course, you should have at least 2 subjects in each group, which you have a strong grip. Because what happens is everyone can't be expert in all the 8 subjects or all the 7 subjects, whatever it is. Because you should have at least hold of a 4 subjects which can give you good quantum of marks. Which most probably in majority of the cases it will be practical, like practical papers like costing, SFM, and FR, everything, and taxation as well. Because what happens is in these practical exams you can easily score higher marks like 90, 95 as well. So I'm not saying you won't be able to score in theory papers, but you the probability of getting more marks in practical examinations is very high. So you will have to have the 2 subjects in your grip in each group. And then in case of theory papers and all, you have to focus more on MCQs. So that because in case of theory exams, no matter what you write, no matter how much effort you keep, like you will be keeping scoring very less because of the subjective decision which the examiner can do. Because each examiner has his own mindset, and because not everyone can express the opinion very perfectly. So because of which you have to focus on the MCQs as well in case of theory exams. And then coming to the next set of preparation, which is writing preparation. This part, majority of the students will neglect this one. So this is what they make a mistake, because everyone focus on reading, understanding. But the thing is, one has to recognize the fact that reading will help you understand the subject very well, and the writing practice which you have will help the invigilator or examiner who is evaluating your paper understand how much you know the subject. So unless you have enough writing practice, unless you have enough mock tests or drills, you can't express yourself out there. So you should have sufficient writing practice. I'm sure majority of the students might be writing the revision exams or so, but I strongly recommend everyone to write at least one pre-final examination, so that you have an assessment, fair assessment on how the exams are going to be. While thinking in mind or while explaining to friends, you can explain very freely. But the main test is within the 3 hours, how you are able to perform, in case of that pressure time. Only 3 hours you will be having, and you will be known with some unknown question paper. You don't know which question paper is to come. So you'll have to have that pre-preparation with yourself. So I strongly recommend everyone to complete at least one pre-final exam. And then, so now one may think we have done the reading and we have done the writing practice as well. And then what else can influence our success? Or what else can influence our preparation? What else can influence our examinations? So the second most important factor is your approach towards the exam. See, many people will think this is a silly thing or not that important. But the thing is, your approach, your right approach towards the examination will differentiate the people who are qualified and the guys who are struggling to qualify. See, till the preparation level, I'm sure everyone will do the preparation strategy very right, because everyone wants to work hard, everyone wants to qualify, everyone has a set of motivation with themselves, and everyone will do the preparation correctly. But majority of the students where they fail is in this phase. So you should have a right mindset. So when I say the approach, it means the mindset towards the examination. So students have the tendency thinking exams are something to be afraid of. Exams are something which will demotivate us. Exams are something which we should hate. It's not that. See, in my case, I always think exam as a platform which gives you a venue to present your opinion. Because world is not going to recognize you unless world is not going to recognize your efforts, whatever sacrifices you made, everything, unless you achieve something out of it. So you can achieve something out of the efforts, you can achieve something out of the sacrifices you made, only if you can help the invigilator understand that you know the subject very well. So that happens only if you can present it very well, and exams will give you that opportunity. So you should not think exams as something which needs to be afraid of. So have the clear mindset towards the exams. So don't take exams as something negative. So exams are very good things. So you should be happy to go to the exam hall. So that attitude should be there. So everyone will think this can sound ridiculous to everyone. Even when someone says to this me, even I feel that is ridiculous. But that's the fact. You should love to go to exam halls. It doesn't mean that you have to write more attempts. You have to face the exam in a positive manner, and then always have a motivation for studying anything. Because without motivation, it will be always you can't succeed in the life as well. So for me, and you should have a constant perseverance as well. So in my case, what happened is I was supposed to give my attempt in May 2020, and even I took the study leave from my articleship office, and then I came to Guntur itself to write the revision exams. But unfortunately, because of this COVID, we had to resume back to homes, and then no one knows when the exams are going to be. Someone will say in May exams won't be there, and the official announcement also came like June, July, and ultimately it happened November 21st, not even November 1st. So it's like there was huge uncertainty. There was a particular point in time whether we are sure whether we will write the exams or not. We are not even sure of that. So during those periods, like everyone will be telling you, your relatives will be telling, everyone will be demotivating, not demotivating. They will tell, why are you stressed so much? You can relax, because there is no one know when you are going to write the exam. No one know when this pandemic is going to end. So those things. But I always had one motivation, because I wanted to see my parents happy because of me, because they always worked hard like anything. Because I am from a family wherein both of my parents are farmers, and during that particular point in time, matlab May 2020, at that time, we don't have anything. We just have, like, our irrigation is also affected, so there is no water in the bore wells. So the only source of income is me. So entire family is dependent on me only. So there is no other income for us. So it's like in that situation, I can't just relax saying exams, no exams will happen, nothing like that. So I always thought one day definitely I'm going to write the exams. And that day, once I write the exam, I should not feel like I should have performed better than this. I did that mistake. I didn't prepare that day, so I'm not able to write this. So I don't want that. What is this one? Guidance to write exam effectively. Yeah, I'm coming, brother. So that guilt you should not have. So for that purpose, you always should have a motivation. And then coming to the exam, coming to the day before exam. So always day before exam or first exam. Always the first exam is very, very important for everyone, because first exam will give you the confidence, which will eventually you will carry on through the entire subjects as well. So always give at least 2 to 3 days. So there should not be any rush in the preparation of first exam at least, because you have enough time. So you can allocate 2 to 3 days, and then prepare all the concept, like brush up on whatever you know first, and then at least understand the things which you have missed out in the revisions as well, so that you have a fair idea on each concept. So nothing is left out kind of. And then before the exam, the day before the exam, have some enough sleep as well, because you should have a positive mind. You should think very cool in the examination hall, so that so have enough sleep before the day of exam. And then once you are on the day of exam, don't stress too much. Like, don't stress. This Q&As and all I will answer was at the end. So don't stress too much thinking that exam is there. So stop your preparation by 12 or 11:30, depending upon the distance you have to your examination hall. So I used to do, like, I used to stop my preparation at 12 o'clock kind of, and had some lunch, and then fresh up, and then try to reach the exam center before at least 1 hour. Because what happens is, when you are in a rush, when you reach in last minute and then enter the exam hall, you'll be tense. The environment will be like everyone will be sitting calm, and everyone will be like some professors. Everyone will be looking professors to you. If you are like, you will feel they are topper than you are nothing. So don't do that. So go early to examination hall. Don't discuss with anyone during the exam, like at the examination center. Don't discuss, you have you revised this, have you revised this. Because what happens is, once you discuss with them, one person will tell, I have revised this concept as well. This is more important. That professor told like that. So what happens is, that gives you negative motivation. Like, you will be demotivated. Oh, I didn't cover that thing. I didn't do this. So I may not perform very well. So don't avoid that. Don't discuss with anyone before the examination. Think of something which gives you peace of mind. Think of something which motivates you, and then stay calm. And the main thing, like, before you go to the exam, there should be one mentality. Like, everyone will think, so I achieved rank at all my levels of CA. Like, At CA, CPT, I achieved 93%. At that time, ranks are not given, so there is no specific rank for me over there. And CA Inter, I got 27th rank, and CA Final, I got 41st rank. So the secret or whatever it you call it, I never thought that I never want to get a rank. So before exams, I have clarity in my mind. What I am going to do is I am going to give my best. That's it. I am going to write whatever I know. I am going to present in the best possible manner. That's it. Nothing more or less than. I don't. I never thought that I have to get a rank in this attempt. I have to get this. And then once you go to the exam, like once you get the paper and once you have that paper in your once the exam once the invigilator gives the paper, just peacefully go through the paper once. Don't tremble. Like go through all the paper, all the questions once, and then there can be two scenarios. One, the paper could be very easy, and you and the whatever you expected came. So at that time, don't be so much excited because remember, like invigilator or examiner don't know invigilator or examiner don't know how much you know unless you express him by way of writing it because he can't get into your brain and understand your knowledge how much you have and evaluate and give marks based on it. So it is going to matter only when you write it on the paper. So don't be so much excited. Even if the question paper is easy, it will be easy for everyone. So you have to present it in the best possible manner. So when the question paper is easy, it is even more dangerous, I would say, because not it is not easy only for you, it is easy for everyone. So everyone will be presenting very well, so you have to present in best possible manner in that scenarios. So you have to stay neutral. You should not be too much excited, you should not be too much demotivated. And then if the suppose if the question paper is tough, then everyone will think, oh my god, then I am gone. So what happens is if a student enters the examination hall with the mindset that he should get a rank, then what happens is if one 8 marks question is given some out of syllabus or out of the way, then they will be demotivated to attempt the paper itself. So I know few people like who got out the exam hall as well before completing 3 hours, thinking that they are not going to get the rank. So you should not do that. So even if the paper is tough, it is tough for everyone. So don't panic seeing the question paper like it is difficult kind of. So the thing is, no one knows. Like even the examiner don't know that you are not aware of the question answer and all. So you first of all focus on whatever you know. So minimum 30 to 40 marks or 40 to 60, whatever it is, whatever marks you know, first attempt that. Don't ever think about what you don't know. First of all, you attempt whatever marks you know. So the first hour of examination is very, very important, within which minimum 30 to 35 marks or 40 marks you should score in the first hour itself, because of which when you attempt 30 to 35 marks in the first hour, then it boosts your confidence so that you can attempt all the remaining paper in effectively. So what you should do is like, first of all, attempt whatever you know, be it 4 marks or 8 marks. And then once you complete the question paper with whatever you know, so then coming to the unknown questions, you have to approach it tactfully. Like there will be something which you know about, at least you should be knowing something related to that one. So approach it, attempt it, and see, I always say you will not be awarded marks just for the one-liner answer which you give. You will be awarded for the process which you follow to derive that solution. So approach it, approach the problem in a logical manner, and do some reasonable steps so that you will, even if you don't get full marks, you will get at least half marks, which will help you in case of unknown question. So that's what you should do. And then don't leave anything unattended in case of your syllabus. What happens is, in my case, in accounting, like during my CA inter, the first examination is accounting. So in that there is a chapter called for not for profit organizations. So there is a particular typical sum called some fund accounting. For some particular school, there is some balance. So we need to pass some ledger entries and prepare a trial balance kind of. So I don't know why I don't like that particular sum alone. So I never used to read it alone, read it also. So before my exam day also, I saw that question. I thought I have to prepare this at least now. But I don't know. I read the question twice, but I never thought of seeing what the answer is. And then when I went to the exam hall, generally the exam booklet will be given you with the first page on the top. But that invigilator has so many papers, so he gave me with the third page open. And the third question is the same question, which I thought I don't want to read it. So the same question with just some name change and number change, same question exactly same, and it came for 8 marks. So then on seeing that itself, I was like, So there is some personal grudge for this guy who ever set my paper. So I'm gone. So it's like that demotivated me because I'm not ready for the surprises. So I was not ready that that question will appear in the exam. I don't want that question to appear in the exam. So this one you should avoid. Like you should not be prepared that this question should be 16 marks. This question should come for 8 marks. This index should give me 16 marks. Never keep that in mind. Because I'm telling you, you should not compare CA examinations with regular board examinations. The regular board examinations are like international cricket matches, wherein particular set of players only will play, and the most probably they will only perform very well. But these CA examinations are like an IPL cricket matches. What happens is you never know which player is going to take over the season. You never know who is going to perform very well. So in similarly, you never know question from which chapter. Like you may feel that chapter is very important. So that chapter may pop up and say it is 8 marks question. So you should be very careful on what you are like preparing. That is the uh, basic thing. And then once you complete the examination, so what majority of the students they will waste time on thinking I should have done this better, I should have done that better, and then discussing with friends what you wrote for this question, what you wrote for that question. So don't do that. So don't waste time because past is past. You can't bring that back again. So if your exam went very well, very good. Prepare for the next exam. If your exam didn't go very well, then we are in the same boat. Even my first exam didn't go very well, and that too that was the first biggest exam, CA inter exam, which I attended. So don't be tensed in that way. So I also lost my motivation, and then I thought, so okay, one exam is not going to determine my entire CA inter career. So I kept my cool, and then I resumed back to the preparation to the next exam, and then so first exam I told you guys can take 3 days time, and there will be there is no rush out there. But after second exam, after the first exam, there will be very minimal time, like 1.5 day or so. So in that case, what you should do? So whether you should revise only important, unimportant. So firstly, there is no nothing called important, unimportant. Only thing is whether you know it or you don't know it. That's it. So the effort is like if it is a practical exam, try to brush upon the formulas. Like if it is SFM in portfolio management, there are many formulas over there. So brush upon that formulas, and then whatever problems which you think might have some tweaks in it, which you think you should revise it, just practice them alone. That's it. And then once you always start with whatever you know. So always whatever chapters you know very well, start with them, complete them, and then if at all there are some chapters which you haven't prepared very well, just have a glance over it so that you are not blank in the examination. That should be your strategy for the practical papers. Suppose the it is upcoming exam is a theoretical exam, then your focus should always be start with whatever you know. Like in case of audit and all, many would be knowing professional ethics very well because that will be like a kind of scoring chapter for everyone. So start with it, complete it, and then some standards you would be knowing very well. So start with them. So whatever you know, start with them, complete it, and then go to the chapters or areas where you have less knowledge about it. So just to have a glance or rough idea over it. It's not that you should not leave anything attended kind of. So prepare to the extent possible. If you are not able to cover 100% syllabus, it's okay. Prepare for whatever extent you can do. So should not be any guilt over you, like thinking I should have done even better kind of. So always remember the time gap between the exam days, like 1.5 day or whatever it is. It is not something for you to revise on the concepts which you don't know itself. It is the time wherein you revise whatever you know very well, and then go through whatever concept you don't know slightly, so that nothing is unknown to you kind of. So keep that in mind. And in case of theory exams, always focus on the MCQs, as I mentioned earlier as well, because there you can get the 30 marks or 25 marks easily, very easily. Because once you know the concept, once you know how to, like, once you know what particular standard or what particular chapter is saying, you'll be easily able to understand and answer that MCQs. Because there, if you answer the correctly, it will get 1 out of 1. There is no discussion also over there. So try focusing more on MCQs in case of theoretical exams. And then someone is saying in the chat box, 15-minute strategy. I will come to it, boss. So always have that positive mindset, I would say, and then don't compare. The basic mistake which everyone does is always they will compare with others. Like, how did he perform in the exam? What is his strategy? What is her strategy kind of? So don't compare yourself with others. So someone might be able to cover entire 100% in within one day, but everyone, each individual has his own capability. So don't compare yourself with others. Always uh, believe on your own believe on your own capabilities. So don't compare with others. Have faith in yourself. Have faith in your preparation. That's it. Uh, so that's the brief I thought of sharing with you guys. It's actually 25 minutes. Maybe I have 30 minutes more, to 20 minutes more for Q&A, so that I want to take more questions today, because I thought initially maybe 150 to 40 students may be there, so I can deliver my speeches more, but I can see 110 participants over there, so I would like to take up the Q&A as well. So firstly, yeah, everyone can post your questions now. From 241, how to see this chat box? Yeah. I'll start with the first question. How to be positive and stay motivated during bad times? See, that's what you should always have some motivation in your life. In my case, my motivation was to make my parents happy, make my parents proud of me. So for that, like whenever I had any bad time, whenever I had to pass through me, like even during my CA final examinations, I had to go through very tough phase, I would say, because there are many postponements of exams, many negativity whether the exams will happen or not. So I always stayed motivated, because I know that one day I will be writing the exam. So on that day I should not be feeling very bad. So my parents have put in a lot of effort to raise me, and lot of effort to make me study over there. So I should not waste that. So you should have some motivation in life which stays you positive and motivated as well. So I think this is for the previous speaker. These questions, let me take from, yeah, from 251, whatever it is. Guidance to study EIS, SM and audit, how to prepare before exams and revision strategy, how to remember and clear these subjects. See, the better way, see, whenever you are writing theoretical exams like audit, in case of audit, always try to quote the standard references. That is that is more important, which conveys the examiner that this guy knows something. So always try to remember the standard names correctly, and then have some key terms in that respective standard, so that it is not like you should write exactly the same. Have some key terms in mind, so that you can, uh, once the examiner sees those terms, he will understand that this guy knows the subject. So that is the thing. And how to remember the standard names. Always see, the easiest technique would be to correlate with your real life kind of. So suppose many of the students remember SA 240. That is because they can relate, because auditor's responsibility relating to fraud in an audit of affairs. That is because 240, if you reverse it like 420, so they can relate it very easily. So that's what. Whenever you want to remember some standard name or some section name, always try to correlate with your real life. So suppose if your roll number, suppose my room number in like inter would be like fourth floor, room number 12. So correlate, like if you're section 412 kind of. So correlate with the real life examples. And then whenever you are speaking with your friends, whenever you are having some chit chats, introduce this. Like as per the SA 240, you should not do this kind of. Like when you have the section subject introduced in your regular terminology, you can easily memorize it kind of. How to push my FM preparation in the last days, because I keep getting the formulas and I keep getting scared when I can't recollect some formulas. See, that's what, in case of practical examinations like SFM and all, practice itself will give you more confidence. So when you practice more, you will obviously remember the formulas. See, one more thing is, don't remember the formula just like this is this. Yes, whatever formula is, you should not remember like mucky to mucky kind of. You should understand what that, with, with that formula, what we are going to achieve. So there will be a logic in each and every formula. So don't try to mug up the formula. Understand how that formula is being derived. Then you can easily recollect, and you have more practice over it, so that you can recollect it at the end as well. ma'am, how to manage study and articleship? So this is earlier question, but I will answer it. See, the easiest way and the fastest way to complete fee at an earlier age would be to manage both your articleship and CA final examination. So what you should do is, after you complete your first year of articleship, you should be parallelly completing your CA final classes as well. Like there are many institutions which offer at morning 6 to 9 or evening 6 to 9 kind of. So one, because see, nothing will be achieved with just uh, easily. So always you have to keep the effort. So you should work hard kind of. So you should keep that effort of attending the classes in the morning, so that the 6 months or 5 months leave which you get in the CA final, you should be utilizing only for the purpose of revision. You should not use the study leave you get for the purpose of attending the classes kind of. So then in that way you can efficiently manage both study and articleship. And direct entry student, should I take online or offline classes? See, generally in literal sense, offline classes are very efficient and effective, I would say. But it doesn't mean that online classes are not that good, because that depends on each and every individual. If you are highly motivated and if you are very sure that you can definitely like prepare very well even without like any deviations kind of, then online would also work. It is not that there is nothing wrong in online classes. These are earlier questions. Presentation tips in theory subjects to score exemption range marks. Yeah. See, in case of theory subject, not even theory, like entire CA examination, it's not, examiner doesn't expect you to deliver a quantitative answer. They will always expect you to deliver a qualitative answer. So always try to keep the content crisp. So keep the keywords in it. In case of audit and all, mention relevant auditing standard and references. And then in case of laws and all, mention respective like section numbers and all. So always keep that relevance in the answer sheet, whatever you write. So keep the keywords so that you can get a good marks. Like quantity doesn't matter in your theory exams as well. How to remember concepts in SCMP for respective question. See, in case of SCMP, earlier it used to be like more of practical subject, so everyone used to take it for a scoring thing. But now that the paper changed trend towards like they are testing your analytical capability. So now in SCMP, it's not like you should remember that particular concept alone, because the recent trend suggests that they are not, they don't want to test you on what you already know. So they always want to test your analytical skills. So how they will give you a case scenarios. See, these case studies and all, they are perfect example of testing your skills rather than whatever you remember. So you have to apply your mind in that respective 3 hours time. You have to like understand, like apply your analytical skills and relate it to whatever concept you have understood, and then answer it. That's it. There is no hard solution that you should remember and then answer it, paste it. So you should apply your skills over there and then present the answer. Sir, I cleared my group 1 and attended group 2 exam 3 times, but I am not able to clear it. Suggest your ideas to clear in this attempt. See, Dharanika asked this question. See, always don't think that, like, don't take pressure on yourself. I'm sure by this time you must be having so much pressure on you from either from family side or friend side. Don't take too much pressure. Think that this is your first attempt. Don't think that, oh, I have already like left 3 times. Now what should I do? So my whoever studied with me, they are in job. So don't think in that way. So think that this is your first attempt and give your best. That's it. Don't focus, I should clear this, I should write, I should get 60 marks. Don't focus on that. Just focus on giving your best in the exam. Studying concepts in all the attempts and practicing practical papers. In one attempt, failing one subject, the next failing in another subject. Facing this since long time. Fed up with preparing for same again, again and again. Please suggest something. There is no name for this. It is called CA. So I would suggest you, if you are practicing more and if you are having that hard work in you, see, just set your mind right. Like think positively towards the examination. Don't think that you are just failing again and again. always try to give your best in the examination. Don't think you have failed this, so I won't be able to complete it. I won't, like, one or other subject you are failing kind of. So always have that positive mindset. I think you need that only, because as far as I understand, you have some enough preparation as well. Sir, regarding law, how was your preparation? Is it recommended to write and practice all the provisions? See, regarding law, I always like I used to remember the section numbers very well. So, and then I used to have the grip over this director chapters. So in those particular chapters, I used to remember all the like number of directors, what are the requirements for section 185 or whatever it is. And then uh, for for chapters, like for other chapters, I used to just have a rough understanding of the concept. That's it. It's not that I remembered exactly whatever it is. I remember the section number fairly well, and I remembered the key emphasizing things in those respective chapters. Sir, kindly advise how to prepare for November inter exams to get a. See, this is what many students does this mistake. They always start with their preparation thinking that I should get a. So that's the mistake many people do. So don't do that. So always don't aim for an A. So aim for to deliver your best. Don't focus on the result. Focus on the approach which you do. That's it. Focus on your effort. Don't focus on how to get air and all. Deliver your best. You will get the result automatic. Please give preparation strategy for CA foundation. So I wrote my CA CPT. So not sure how I can. I won't be able to effectively answer your question. But whatever I told for CA inter final applicable is applicable for all the examination as well. Which color pen I have to use at exam? So at that time they mentioned there is a ruler kind of only black pen we can use. So I used only black. I'm not sure how it is now. But regardless of in CA examination, your handwriting alone doesn't matter. Because I will tell you, uh, for my fourth paper in CA Inter, for taxation paper, what I did is, while going to the examination center, I forgot my calculator. And then when I came back, I took the calculator, and then I was going to the examination center through a bus. And then I forgot my like pens, everything in that bus itself. So I don't have pen, I don't have anything, like all my pens, everything is lost. Only hall ticket is there. Then I took some fresh pens, like whoever is there, in, like my friends and all in the examination center. And on starting the paper, I started my I used my mathematics knowledge, and I was doing some permutations and combinations. This pen for 5 lines, this pen for 5 lines. So and suddenly after 30 to 35 minutes, I realized that it's like 35 minutes is over and I am able to write only 8 marks. And then the doctor inside me, he came out and he took over charge. So I wrote, I don't know how I wrote, but I'm able to attempt close to 90 to 95 marks. So the thing is, you need not be right like decorative handwriting. Only thing is, the examiner has to understand what you are trying to convey. That's it. It's not that you should write you should not like handwriting should be beautiful kind of. Handwriting should be reasonably understandable. That's it. Genuine review on mastermind's education. See, there is nothing called fake kind of. See, whatever I say is like personally I feel and I strongly recommend that as well. See, and this venue is not for any specific institution, but a genuine review is that it is very good, I feel, because masterminds played a very significant role in my success. This is genuine. There's nothing fake about it. And this is not the venue also to discuss. How to focus on DT and IDT MCQs. See, DT and IDT MCQs, if you see, they are not MCQs per se. If you observe the trend, it's like complete question is given as an MCQ. That's it. It's not that they're framing an MCQ over there. So whatever preparation you are having for your general problem, that applies there as well. But the thing is, you should be able to get the final answer at a time. So that's what you practice. The practice should be more for attempting this DT and IDT MCQs. So in fact, during my CA final, both DT and IDT saved me kind of. Those gives me some 81 marks each, which helped me get some good rank as well. So always what I did in DT IDT is there is no separate preparation, especially in DT and IDT. There is no separate preparation for me for MCQs because the trend is such a way that the problem is just given as an MCQ. So focus on the problem and then try, like you should be able to solve the problem and with the calculator itself, most probably. So that should be the approach. For MCQ, shall we refer to the ICA MCQ booklet? Why not? ICA is the Bible for us, so you can obviously refer. Because what happens is, it's not that whatever is there in IC MCQ will pop up in the exam. The thing is, you will get the confidence. For MCQs, what you need is the preparation. And because within, suppose for 4 marks, you can attempt, like you can allocate 8 minutes. But that same 4 mark question, if it is given as an MCQ, you can't afford 8 minutes over there. So you should have the practice so that even if the 4 mark question, you can solve in 1 minute. That is the approach. How to manage study and article sheet, this I answered. How to remember the provisions and essays in inter. See, the easiest way to remember provisions and standard numbers is applying it in your real life. That's the best way to remember. Is the quoting of sections mandatory for CA, interlaw, and tax? See, quoting is not a mandatory thing. It's not that like if you don't quote the section, you won't get it. But you can, someone can say as per the provisions of Income Tax Act 1961. But the thing is, if at all you quote the section, then it gives an added advantage. It's not that if you don't remember, don't panic. So it's all right. Whatever you remember is fine. How to utilize the starting 15 minutes? See, what matters in scoring good marks and not scoring good marks is you have to be very cool in the examination center. So the starting 15 minutes is very critical. So just glance through the question paper once completely. Just with a pencil mark what questions you know, not a bigger mark, like small dot kind of mark it, whatever you know very well. That's the important thing you should do. You should not again waste another 5 minutes again finding out which questions I know. So in that 15 minutes itself, identify the questions which you know very well. Your thoughts during exam preparation. During exam preparation, one thing is I have to give my best. That's the one thing. And then I always remember the hard work which my parents kept. So I used to have that motivation, which kept me like never give up attitude kind of. And then like during and once I go to the exam hall kind of, so I never think about, oh, I remember this section, I remember this section. So once I reach the exam center, I will forget about everything. I will be like cool mind. I will remember like I personally watch more movies. So I remember the movies, like I will think of that, this, that's it. So you have to be very like if you are more happy in the examination center, you can perform very well. Sir, in C enter when to attend MCQs, first or last or in between? See, personally, I used to attempt the MCQs at the end. Why? Because I want to make sure I attempt everything. Like I attempt the balance 70 marks or 75 marks at the first, and then attempt the MCQs at the last, so that I can peacefully answer them. So that's my approach because I used to think MCQs are very important. So if I have the peace of mind, which I will obtain by ensuring that I attempted other paper, so I should attempt at the last. But that depends on each and every individual's mindset. There is no hard rule that you should attempt last only. You should attempt first only. You cannot attempt at any time. There are many friends of mine who attempted first and they got good marks as well. What is your revision strategy? So my revision strategy is more like understanding the concepts, not mucking up, understanding the concepts very well and practicing for practical examination. For CA final materials to be read. See, always it is not that there are obviously some good set of others, some very good set of others also. So whatever material you took for coaching, follow that material only. It's not that something is very bad. So don't change, don't shift between these materials. That's many that's the mistake. That's another common mistake which many people do. Don't shift between the material. Because what happens is whatever material you use for coaching, you will be very comfortable with it. So don't shift between that. And when it comes to EIS, I can understand the concept well, but I can't present in the exam what to do. See, that's what in this case you will have to practice more. So that's what I was saying. Writing is equally important as reading. Because when you present only, you will be like in mind you can think 100 ideas. But when you are putting it on paper, you can't present it effectively whatever you thought. So writing practice will enable you to do that. Let me check what is the time allocated to me. I think 3:40. Okay. I will quickly take 2-3 questions. So one is how many revisions you have done in final exam? Fairly for final I did I think 2 to 3 because there was a pandemic and I got a ample time as well. So one revision also would do, I feel. One revision with some good pre-final examination. I'm interested in it. It is possible to study and clear auditing and within 1 month. Have you covered every chapter in these subjects? Obviously, like while revising, I never left anything in any particular subject. Also, I never left anything. So always try to cover everything. Like 1 month, yeah, you can easily cover. Please tell how to overcome fear, sir, while nearing exam. See, how to overcome is you always have to have the positive attitude toward the examination. So never think examinations are something ghost kind of. So examinations are in fact a platform which gives you, like, which shows you the way to qualify, which shows you the way to beautiful career ahead. So don't think of exams in a wrong way. Think of exams as a positive thing. Think of exams as a avenue wherein you can present whatever you know. So that way you can, there won't be any fear for you. Section number is important. Well, it is not definite thing. If you know, it is well and good. If you are not remembering, still it's okay. How to boost FM preparation in the last days? Cause I keep getting forgetting some formulas, and I keep getting scared that maybe I'm not well prepared, and I can't recollect some formulas. See, if you are not able to, that's what. Whenever you are preparing, don't try to mug up the formulas. Understand how that particular formula is deriving and what that formula is conveying. That way you can remember. Did you do APC ranking of chapters? If yes, how did you rank chapters as ABC? Uh, in my scenario, matlab, I didn't do personally APC analysis because I thought everything is important. So, but I personally like few standards like Index 115. I like it very much, and I personally like and Index 23 as well. So whatever standards I like, I used to start with them, but nothing is unimportant as per me. How to revise effectively uh, is another generic question, but have some more practice. That's it. I'm doing CA Finance, CA Foundation. CA Foundation, I can't help brother. Sir, for the MCQs, do you refer only to the MCQs and case-based questions given in the course, or do you have any reference books? See, it's not like you should approach various sources. You should see for MCQs and all, you have to get clarity over the concept. It's not like obviously preparation will help you. It's not like you should refer more books, then you will get more marks. So whatever books you refer, you understand how to approach them, how to solve them in given set of period. So personally, I did ICA books and whatever coaching institute books I had. The quoting then okay, I think I'm already uh, I already took 2 minutes more time. I don't want to waste the time of others as well. So you can always reach out to me at LinkedIn as well, and you can easily get my name Nikhil Kumar Reddy. So I will be very happy to answer your queries over there as well. So that's it from my end for today. I hope there is some value addition from my side. So thank you, Aparna, as well, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you once again, and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, sir. I think I'm going to pass this time for sure. Your stories and your trips are really amazing. That's really a great time.
Yeah,
Now
thank
we are moving to my favorite part, a talk with psychiatrist. I personally believe exam is more about how we overcome stress and manage our time. So here we have Dr. Divya, MBBS and MD. She has done her research on psychiatric morbidity in cancer patients and also a research in psoriasis and psychiatric morbidity. This shows how passionate she is, and she is also currently working on few more researches on ketamine, role of ketamine in major depressive disorder, role of ketamine in reducing active suicidal thoughts. She is working as assistant professor in NRI college also. So we welcome her to continue this session. Welcome, ma'am.
No, you're not at audible.
Ma'am, you're not audible. Can you once check? Ma'am is having some technical issue with her mic. Please give us 5 minutes. We'll be back.
Yes, ma'am. You are audible now.
Hello. Jesse, in case I think like it's working now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's all
yeah. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, you can proceed. You're audible now.
Hello, but I couldn't hear you.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello,
Yes, ma'am.
but
Am
I
I
couldn't
audible?
hear. Like only if I keep my AirDops, I could hear.
We can hear you clearly. You're on speaker only.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Aparna Garu, for giving this opportunity, and thank you for your warm introduction. I am working as a consultant neuropsychiatrist at NRA Medical College and Pavan Neuropsychiatric Clinic at Vijayawada. So I would like to share the screen because it became monotony all these sessions, right? I think this will be a bit change for you all. Can you people see my screen?
Ma'am, your screen is not sharing, ma'am.
Can you people see my screen?
No, ma'am, it's not
Okay.
sharing, ma'am.
So, as you all are discussing about this stress, time management, about this exams. So, I just wanted to hear from you people. What do you think stress is from your end?
Since ma'am wants session to be interactive, if you raise your hands, I will unmute the person who wants
Am
to
I
talk.
audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. Whoever wants to talk, please raise your hand. Whenever some ma'am asks a
Am
question,
I audible to
I'll
you all?
unmute you.
Yes, ma'am, you're audible. That's all.
Okay. Just like I want to make this an interactive session and I want some feedback and opinions from you so that it will be interesting for you and me also. So, according to you, what do you mean by stress? Aparna Ganu, I couldn't hear any voice or response from the other end.
Yes,
Is there
yes,
some
I will
problem or
unmute.
it's just I can only chat and not answer?
No, no, ma'am. Can you hear? You can hear me, right? Ma'am, can you hear me?
Okay. Okay. Then continuing with the presentation, here like I would like to discuss today, I would like to discuss about stress. What are the different types of stress? What are the sources of stress? And what are the symptoms and signs we do see commonly in the people with stress and and how to manage stress?
Sorry guys, ma'am is having some technical issue with her mic. So we will proceed on with the next session and she will continue after that. So we will have Bharat Khanna now. Please give us a minute to him to connect.
Hi, sir. Bharat sir, am I audible?
Yeah, hi. Hi, Hemant. Am I also audible, right? You're audible. I'm able to hear you.
Yeah, your voice is clear. Yeah, your screen is also visible.
Okay.
Yeah. So, hello everyone. So we are about to start with our next session, a talk with AAR 28, CA final ranker 28, Bharat Khanna. Very much, I'm very much interested to have a session with him. So I just want to introduce about our speaker today. Bharat Khanna is currently working in Mintra as a financial planning and in a financial planning and analysis department. So yeah, he have done his articleship from Brahmaya and Co Association, and yeah, he's a good dancer. I saw first time I saw him in Instagram reels. I cannot believe that this person got secured a rank. He's very much talented, multi-talented person, and very a good person to talk with. I have a good conversation with him. So yes, sir. So we will start the session today. So yes, sir. We will have some questions. We have some questions lined up. We just want you to talk for some time, then we will have the interview questions and answer session. Yes, sir. Handing over to you.
Okay. So hi everyone present in the meeting today. So it's really good to address you guys through the Zoom meeting today. And thank you, Sikas and ICA, for organizing this. So I was asked to speak on how to face your CA examinations. So since I just got a rank in one of those exams, that's the only reason. And I mean, I'm not sure what I can talk about so specifically there. So I was asked to speak about some questions. So probably I'll just give some overview on how I did prepare. So basically the strategy differs to everyone. So it's not the same thing. I mean, So 50 of us got ranked in the same exam. So it's not that all 50 of us took the same strategy. So everyone has a different path to attain their goals. I'll just speak about mine, and whosoever like feels related to it can take it, and others like you can still optimize on your own strategy, which can also lead you to your own successes. So speaking about first question, which I was asked to say was about my last 20 days or 1 month strategy over the exams. So that first I would say, every one of us we should try to find our own strategy, strengths and weaknesses. So that's when you can optimize your own strength so that you can cover your weaknesses. So speaking about myself, my strength is that my ability to crack practical papers. For example, like FR or SFM could be costing, kind of those. I have a bit of upper hand over the theory papers, the control I had over the theory papers. So I won't waste much time on these papers and rather use these times to cover my theory portions. So that is what, everyone has their own thing. Some people might have an upper hand over theory. So there, you should obviously optimize the strengths, whatever you had. But you have to devote more time there on your weaknesses, because the CA paper is not such a way that you can just pass on paper and like leave that. You have to write it again if you just fail in some other subjects also. So you have to be at least like taking 50 or 40 or 50 marks in every papers, and then take like 70 or 80 in the paper in which you're confident enough so that you'll be able to clear the exams. So then speaking of the strategies I had, so my strategies, everything was just focused upon the last 1.5 days of the exams. So I'll prepare in such a way that how will I be able to consolidate everything in the last 1.5 days of the exam. So taking about papers in which like, so I used to study all the, in every subject you used to have some topic which is like so easy to you. You need not like devote much time there, and some topics where even if you devote much time, you won't be able to understand it or grasp it so easily. So I used to revise all my easy points, easy topics, the topic which I consider easy, as many times as possible, so that even if in the last 1.5 days, if I don't have time to study, if I don't have proper time to study, I'll go to exams confidently without even touching these topics. I'll just focus on only parts where I'm not that confident on. That only I was studying in the last 1.5 days. And these topics, I'll get only like very less time in the last, maybe sometime before the exams, where I'll just revise these topics. But other topics, I used to like take much time before exams also. So that topics, something which I'll focus upon right before exams, and very easy topics I'm not that focused on before exams, because I used to revise it very lot more times, even like 1 month or 15-20 days before exams itself, and I used to have that memory even during exams also. And I would say like, don't take any new topics or like new chapters in the last 1 month of the exams. Last 1 month of the exam, just devote your time to revise whatever you have studied alone. So you don't take anything new, and it does not like push out something from your memory also. So you just revise whatever you have done the same things again and again, so that it like catches hold on your memory and it never fades away. And like, so take your MCQs and RTPs, MTP revisions, everything that needs to be done in the last month only. So that's when like you will have a grip over the topics also, and then you'll be able to take questions on your, you can just revise the MTPs and RTPs, and that won't take much time, especially in the last 1 month. And so next thing, so how to memorize these topics. So it's not basically memorizing everything. So what I had is like, I have a bit of eidetic memory. So I used to remember my books in my exams also. So whenever I write some answers, I used to remember how it was presented in the books. And also when studying, I used to try to replicate the same words what is there in the books. So that's when like, even I don't lose my keywords. Just memorizing the keywords and going to the exam thinking that I can build up on my own based on the keywords will make you forget your keywords also. So I used to like study the total point. If there is like 5 points, I used to try to memorize the 5 points in the book itself, so that I at least like have keywords in my exams, and then I'll try to build it upon over there. So just try to do that. So even this will be helpful for you to memorize your section numbers also. So whenever I used to study like law or indirect tax or direct tax papers, I used to study and like say the answers again along with the section name, section number. So that's when, like, whenever I say a section number, my or whenever I say an answer, my mind directly goes to the corresponding section numbers. So quoting section numbers in the exam is not exactly required, I would say, but I used to do, because I remember some section number. I mean, important section numbers always, I would say, try to memorize it. Quoting section number will always give you upper hand in the exam when the corrector when he evaluates the paper. So if you write the section number, it will be very easy for him. So I mean, it's like getting his attention in the first line of the answer itself. So like, even if he does not have time to read all the whole answer, whatever you have written, if you like attract him in this first line, probably your chances of getting like 0.5 or 1 marks or higher is very high. So there section numbers will really help, but don't write wrong section numbers. If you are really confident on section numbers, please go forward it. Or if you're not really confident, then it's not really required. You can just go with as per provisions of the act or something. So that is not really so important, I would say, but try to note down the section numbers also. So just prepare maybe a separate note kind of thing, where for each section number, I mean, for important section numbers alone, prepare what does the section number says and what is the gist of it, so that you can like use it as a ready reference, maybe some days before exams or like some moments before exams, so that important section numbers alone you remember. And if if it's your luck and if the same question comes in your exams, so that will be like easy marks for you. So other than that, memorizing is not exactly required. So keywords alone is important. So other than that, it is not exactly required you to memorize each and every line in your book and like warm it there in the examination. You can just go with the keywords. That is really helpful. So other than that, I'm not sure what more questions was asked to me, and like if there is anything which I left, Hemant, you can just give me a topic of it and I'll just speak about it.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Like, can you tell a small gist about subject-wise strategy? Like, we can take up some difficult subjects, like for example, in Inter, EASSM, how to score good marks.
Okay, so EASSM. So that I'll say. So that is one of the scariest paper I have ever faced in my CA life. So that is the paper which I've just passed, I would say. I just got 40 marks and I passed in Inter. So EASSM, I'm not great. I'm not that guy to give advices on EASSM, I would say. And SM was my strength paper there. I would say I actually completed 100% of SM and I was confident on SM. EAS, actually, I went to the exam just hoping that flowchart, I'll get some flowchart, I'll prepare the flowchart, I'll get 3 or 4 marks in IT. And I was confident that I'll get like 35 or 40 marks in SM. I went to the exam of ASM just by thinking that I'll get 45 to 50. That's all I was expecting. And I got 40 from it. So I'm not really the guy to advise for EAS and SM. So this also depends on me. I mean, again, the first thing which I said, like try to optimize your strength. I was a bit confident on SM there. So that's why I like took all my time to only to study SM. EAS, I tried my best and I was unable to remember points in EAS. So I, even before exams also, I studied only 1 or 2 chapters. Other chapters I omitted basically. So I didn't have MCQs at that point in time. So this omitting subjects also didn't matter at that point in time. So that's how I cleared EAS and SM. That is really not my cup of tea, I would say. And others, so other subject wise, audit would be the toughest paper, which I would say, for me at least. So for me, generally, all theory papers are enemy. So it's not something which I am easy at. So it's something which you have to do something new. So what I did, so it's like basically preparing this ABC kind of thing. So whatever is important and what is the next level and what is least important. So I used to omit these points, whatever is least important as per me. So what I did was, I mean, just don't go based on some faculty saying or like some YouTube video saying. You go through past papers and see what questions have been asked from a particular topic. So that's when you come to know, is this topic really important and how it was tested in the past exams. So when you get to know that, and then you do feel that this is not important and this is not going to come, I mean, you can take a bit, you can omit some topics. I wouldn't say a chapter. Definitely don't omit a chapter at all. Omit, I mean, it's okay, I would say, but it's not advisable, but it is okay to omit some topics within a chapter so that you can focus on other important topics also, which will definitely score you marks. So I strongly, I remember in audit, I omitted this quality review topic as a whole. I studied peer review, but I omitted this quality review at all. So I omitted this point, and I also I didn't go much into this management audits and operational audit kind of topic would be there. So these I didn't go. These are the two topics which I omitted. Others, everything I studied, but omitting some is really okay. 10% or 5% of the total syllabus is fine. When you're confident on the rest 90% of the topic, omitting 5% will not make any difference. But concentrating on the next 90% is very, very important. So that you have to design your own strategies for sure. It's either revising it again and again and again, or giving it one go, maybe devote a time to that. But I generally take a lot more times for theory. I study it again and again. That is how I cracked theory papers. I wouldn't say cracked also. I got the least marks in my theories and the audit and law. So that is how I do. And MCQs are something which you have to concentrate more on, because introducing this MCQs, now it has reduced the scope of omitting also. So even if I omit something, I used to at least have a context over it. It is not just omitting something and you can just not see the book itself. It's not, I don't omit the paper continuously. Obviously, it's just going and at least knowing what it talks about, so that even in MCQs, if the question comes, I will be able to, with the options given, I'll be able to at least do something. So you can't omit it continuously. 100%, just know the context at least. And whenever you study for some others also, whenever you go, revise or study for first time, pay attention to each and every small details. Study it in such a manner that how this one point would be tested in MCQ. So if that's when you'll be able to crack the MCQ. And if you are able to crack 25 marks out of this 30 MCQs, hereafter the theory paper is not going to taunt you or threaten you. MCQs are really a way out from theory papers, but it needs the time. You have to really dedicate that particular time for MCQs separately, just not before exams, I would say. Even from the first moment when you start studying a particular chapter or topic, you have to keep attention to each and every small detail in a line. That's when you can crack your MCQs. And ICAI MCQs are really tough. It's not that easy that you've seen just the back of a chapter and you can't just go. You have to note each and every detail there. Study it in that manner that whenever you see a topic or number of a percentage coming in within a theory, MCQs are really important, and that's how I escaped from all theory papers. So is there any other subject which I need to speak about? Okay, so CA foundation. Okay, so when I studied to CA CPT, so I'm not so sure how this foundation course is structured right now. So mine, it was totally MCQs. So I'm not so great now in advising for this foundation course also, but anyways, I would say the same thing. It matters. Obviously it's now same as inter and final only. So foundation, though, I would say some of the portions will obviously interlude with your high school, whatever you studied also, same things. And even if you're a science student, it's not so difficult. You can grasp economics and maths. Maths you guys know for sure better. Economics and commerce is not that difficult subjects that you can't grasp only. You can easily do that. You can, okay, so foundation, so I'm so sure what I've never been in that area, so now I'm not sure how to advise it or give any of my viewpoints. So you're just out from your school, right? So you are from your 12th year, you have come out, so you're already in that momentum of studying 15 hours or 14 hours a day for your board exams also. So just don't lose that momentum, I would say, for next 6 months. Go with the same flow and foundation gets done. That's all I would say. Other than that, I'm not so sure. I'll definitely check with some of my other friends who cleared foundation and let us know. But at present, I really don't have any idea about how the foundation course operates also. So I'm so sorry whoever asked that question. Like I have nothing to help
Yeah,
you.
but anyways, the strategies and all the memory techniques, everything.
That's it. So
Yeah.
strategies and memory techniques. I said memorizing techniques. I said right. So I don't exactly like memorize words or kind of thing. I try to understand it obviously, and so when I try to replicate whatever I understood, I try to use the same words whatever is used in the books. So that's how I I didn't forget my keywords also whenever I wrote in the exams, since I was trying to replicate all the words in the books. So whenever you study also, that's what I'm saying, just don't concentrate on the keywords and leave the other topics. Concentrate on the total book so that at least keywords get stuck with you. So that is one of the memorizing techniques which I used, I would say, not more than that. Strategy is again, it differs. I mean, you can use the Pareto again. So whichever is so important, try to devote most of the time towards that. And again, like wherever you find yourself as weak and you're not devote much more time towards that particular topic and try to crack it. And that's how you can do. I mean, strategy though, I mean, I can't exactly say what you can do here.
Yeah, so we can move to the questions of the audience.
Okay.
There are some questions from audience, starting with Deeksha. She have asked how to prepare for last exam. Last exam, I don't. It's not clear. Actually, the question is not clear. Last exam in the sense.
Last exam, I mean, I'm not sure whether it's final exams you're saying, or the IDT paper of the final.
Deeksha, can you give some explanation about your question so that we can answer it correctly? So next question, Deeksha, again, she have asked how to utilize first
15 minutes of the exam. Okay, so the first 15 minutes, I hope that she's referring to the time between giving you the question paper and allowing you to write the exams. That's 15 minutes. So that 15 minutes, so I used to, I mean, it's obviously to read the questions. So you read the questions and also you have to devise how you are going to write. So it's not that you're going to start with the first question always and end with the 7th question. So you have to prepare like, okay, this is the first question I'm going to start and followed by this. So that walk you have to definitely prepare in the first 15 minutes itself of your time. And then, so that is basically like which question you are so confident on. So it's that the first question which you write, it is going to attract the examiner, I mean, evaluator. So the first question, try to choose that question which you're so confident on, and you are sure that even when you correct the paper, you yourself will give you 100 marks. That question, please try to write it first. It necessarily need not be that compulsory question what you write. You can take whatever question, but try to give it in such a way. I mean, try to present it in such a way that so he has a good opinion on you on the first question itself. So that's how you have to like cover the paper, and the presentation also matters a lot for especially the first 2 papers. So what I should do is that the first 2 or 3 pages of my answers, I used to write slowly also, but I wanted to present it so well. So that, I mean, if you can clearly say that the first 3 papers of my page and the last 3 papers of my page was not written by the same guy. So that's how I used to do. I clearly want to impress my evaluator in the first 3 or 4 pages itself. So that's how I do. Then the first 15 minutes is obviously to plan for the next 3 hours, I would say. Plan for the next 3 hours in the 15 minutes. It's not the time you have to recollect answers. Just see, and if you believe that you will know the answer, just select the question. You just noted that I'm going to write this question for sure and go to the other questions. Probably you can complete all the questions in like 7 or 8 minutes. The next 7 or 8 minutes is just to order it like in which order you are going to answer the papers. And I'm not saying this is not allowed to do, but what I do is that whenever I see an answer and I know, okay, so these are all the topics which needs to be covered, I'll just write in very small words near the question paper itself that, okay, when this question I'm going to write, these are the words I should not forget. I should remember these words whenever I write in the exams. So that I used to do, so that even after 2 hours, when I go to the same question, I'll remember, okay, so these are the points which I thought at that point in time, and this gave me confidence that I'll write this question properly. So that I do, but I think this should not be done, but you can take a bit. It's not a problem. And yes. So what was the question? Was there any update on this thing last exam?
Not yet. No, not yet. So now we have next question again. Is it important to quote the question section number? I think you have
And
already
process. Yeah, correct. I
answered.
mean, it's not so important, I would say, but important questions are really important sections are really required. Don't miss that. Try to, I mean, so whatever questions have been asked so much in the past are very important. So don't miss those section numbers, but it's not like 100% of the section number you have to cover. It's fine if you cover the important question papers, but try to cover the section numbers also. It's what I say. And write only if you know 100% if it's correct. And if you're like even 10% if you're not sure, don't write a wrong question as a section number there. That's it.
So next question is how to remember concept in SEMP for respective question.
Good. Okay, so this SEMP. Okay, SEMP is a totally different paper, I would say. You can't group it under theory also, and you can't group it under practical also. So it is actually a paper where you have to write your own stories, and the best story gets marked. So how to relate a particular topic to a question? So it comes from huge practice, I would say. So I mean, you have to go through a lot of question papers. So I mean, there is some case scenario book which ICAI also releases. So try to go through many question papers and see. Okay, so there will be some method. How do you crack it? So it's like basically there will be some keywords. If this keyword comes, it is only this topic. It is if this comes, it's balance scorecard. If this keyword is not available, then I can write it to some other topic. That's how you have to think. I mean, I clearly don't remember now, but I had this during my exams also. I used to go with this keyword. So if in this question I found this word, I'll definitely go with this topic only. I'll just go and write some 4 or 5 points about each topic, and then it really matters how are you going to relate this 4 or 5 points which you have written with the case scenario given. So I mean, again, as I said, so the best story, whatever you write. So I mean, you can easily write your own story in SCMP. I mean, I can say this confidently because like I really got very huge marks in SCMP. I mean, I would say the second highest marks I got was in SCMP, when a lot of my batchmates really didn't get that high in SCMP. I got this because what I did differently was like writing own. I mean, it is like 3 hours of writing alone. There's nothing much to think for you in SCMP. You just go there. I mean, you know the topic. I mean, obviously the question was to how to relate to a topic. That is obviously based on going through as many questions as possible, only you'll be able to crack that. So once you crack, it's okay. For each topic, you should literally memorize like 3 or 4 lines. If it is going to be speaking about 5 years, I know only this. Under each of the topic, I have to write only these 1 or 2 points. After this 1 or 2 points, it is really that how we are going to relate it to the case scenario given. So that is where you are going to get those marks. So that it really depends on your ability to write as long as possible in your exam. So in my case, I would say the first compulsory question which I got in SCMP, it was like for 20 marks, which I wrote for around 15 pages. The one question I wrote it for 15 pages. And this was because I was so sure on that paper. And I was like, this question, if the evaluator sees the first thing in my page, I'm sure that he's going to think me huge. And believe me, I wrote the SCMP paper only for 85 and I got around 75. So it's that important that SCMP is only related to writing so huge. I mean, you have to make them believe that you have written it so huge. I mean, you can do all kind of nonsense there. Just leave a line between every point you write. I always leave this first 2 lines and last 2 lines in my paper. So it doesn't really go to the attention of the evaluator that you have left so much lines. But if we count literally, I would have left literally like 7 to 8 lines in just a page. I would have left. I would have not wrote anything in those lines. But it makes my paper as if I have presented it so well. But it is really not presenting it that huge. I like manipulate the evaluator at that place to get more marks. So that you can easily use for SCMP, where it is morely about writing than solving, because practical is still there. I mean, you have to solve sums also, but it is more how do you explain that sum through your writings. That is mostly in SCMP. So just don't stop yourself, write how much ever you can. It's literally like how you give your BCom exams. You get like half marks for each page. Based on that, you just go and write for assembly. That's how you score marks in assembly.
We have many more questions lined up, so
Okay.
we'll be little quicker. Next, we have questions like, can you share your ESSM paper with us?
Good. So sorry, I don't have my inter papers with now. I still have my final papers with me. I can share that for sure. But inter papers, I didn't even get. I didn't even apply for papers at that point in time. So inters I don't have. Final I still have. I can share.
Next question: how to prepare for November inter exam?
November inter exams. So so November inter exams, like it's April already. So you can complete your classes by August. I think August or September is where you'll try to complete your classes. So try to go through your. At least you can't do it 100%, but try to study each and every day whatever was taught to you on the same day. Try to cover the topics. Other than that, right now there is nothing much you should like feel for November exam. So my case, I would say, when I had exams in May, so I wrote my inter in May 18. I started studying seriously only from Jan. Before that, it was like very new to me. As I said, like CPT was in 2 months after my 12th, so I didn't really have any leave there. So after CPT is what I took time out. For 1.5, 2 months, like I didn't even study properly. I used to attend classes. Then I don't even touch the books. So that's how it went. And from December or Jan only, I started studying properly, and I was able to crack. I didn't get rank for sure. I was able to pass. That I was able to do. So everyone can do that also. So it's not that you have to like be so focused from now, but try to at least pay proper attention in class and try to at least revise it at least once every day after you go home. So that from now will be fine. So then, you have to obviously increase your intensity in last 2 or 3 months, but now I think this will be fine for you now to go for November exams.
So next question from Vaibhav. He's a direct entry student. How to manage articles with studies?
So this is a question every CA student is who's not been able to crack. So articleship and studies. So it depends on really where you work. So if you are really working in a Big Four, so it's too difficult, I would say, because like I have seen Big Four people working like day and night every day. In that cases, managing classes as well as studying is very difficult. But I personally, I'm not from a Big Four, so I didn't have this really long stretched hours of working. So I used to get free by 6 or 7 every day. So after that, you have to really let go of some of your entertainments and something. That's how you can really cope up with both articleship and studies at the same time. You have to really manage your time. That's exactly what you shouldn't like sacrifice your sleep. You shouldn't sacrifice your other personal life also, for sure. But it's the balance which you have to strike. So here to advise, I'm not sure. I can't give any inputs here. You should really manage it. You will definitely figure it out. Once you are into both of this, maybe first 1 or 2 months you'll really struggle, and after that, definitely you'll figure yourself. That is not that difficult.
Yeah. So my experiences, I try to wake up early in the morning, and I will try to study in the morning session.
Correct. Yeah, that's correct. You have classes mostly in morning sessions. 6:30, 7 o'clock you have classes, so you have to wake up early. So that's what you don't have any other choice, but you have to manage that. You'll figure out how you do.
Next question from Rarnika. Can we clear this attempt if we study for 5 weeks, which is left over? See inter.
Okay. Literally depends on like how much progress have you done as of now. So if this is the time you're going to start for studying, I would definitely say don't write this attempt. Go for November. But if you have already like done a significant portion, or like maybe at least 50% if you have studied, you can definitely go and try this exam. So it's not a big thing. It's now you have to really like make this decision if you really wanted to go for both the groups, or if any single group would be fine. Because I would definitely say single group from now is really achievable. You can start a group from now, and you can definitely go and like try to clear that group in next May exams for sure. So that depends on your current situation now. If you have like already completed 1 or 2 subjects, I would say definitely go for one group. And if you completed more than that, I would say you can definitely it's just a 5 weeks of revision now. You can just revise 5 weeks and go for inter exams for sure. It's not that you should definitely clear. It's not like you can't.
So next question, when we lost confidence after writing one of the paper and how to maintain the confidence for the exam?
So like, okay, so this I would say, even in my final exams, FR was my first paper. So after writing FR, I knew I messed up my consolidated accounts. So I didn't do it properly. So when I came out, I knew, okay, so I didn't write. I mean, this also I wanted to say, like, plan for it 3 hours for sure. I mean, write model exams as much as possible. I didn't do this in my final, and in FR, I didn't have proper time. I didn't manage the time properly. Though I knew 100 marks, I was able to write only for 90 marks. I didn't have the time to write. So that I would say, manage your time also, like, optimistically. And then, so even I knew that I messed up my consolidated accounts and I didn't write for my 10 marks. Even though I didn't know, I had some amount of courage within me, which said that it's not a problem still, because other answers which I wrote, I was so confident on. Other than this consolidated, I was confident on other paper, other sums, whatever I took. So I was like, anyways, I'm going to pass. It's not that I'm going to fail in this paper. I will pass for sure. Just go and do whatever you want. I mean, let's go and see about the next subject now. It's not like you can't just keep stuck on whatever you wrote already. You just go and write new things. I mean, the next paper does not wait until you like really complete your regret and come out of the first paper what you wrote. So don't ideally try to discuss answers whatever you have written. Once you complete your paper, just forget whatever you have written and write your answers in such a way that you don't want to study that particular subject again in your life. So once you write the paper, just throw the book and you're not going to take the book again. With this confidence, just go for the next paper and you should definitely clear. And right after audit exams of my final also, I was in a mood that I'm going to fail. But in audit, luckily I got passed. I got some 45 something I got and I passed. But yeah, if I had regretted and I have sit there, then I wouldn't have gone for law and I wouldn't have cleared CA by now. So that is something. Sorry. Okay. And that's it. I mean, just don't sit on whatever you have written. Go forward with the next papers. So you have written. I mean, there is nothing you can go and change the past paper. So go for the next paper. If you are doubting that if you are not able to clear the last paper, think about this: that if you are not going to get exemption in this paper, what you are going to write, you have to write this paper also again. So increase your efforts for the second paper so that you get exemption out of it. That's it.
Like one person have asked, first question is mandatory. Should we attend that first? What order we can go? That's what. So you can choose your own order. It's not that you have to write the first question first itself. I said, right, you write your first question that you're so confident about. So that's, I mean, the level of confidence decides the order of question you're going to answer. So start with your most confident question and then go with this thing. It's not compulsory that you have to write that first question as the first answer. That's not required. Foundation coaching class. I think we cannot recommend any classes here. Yes. So, we're starting answering questions. Yeah, if we know some sub questions out of one question, and we don't have the idea of remaining sub question. Okay. So this. Okay. So here, I would say again, evaluate which one of those questions you're so confident on. Obviously, there will be 2 questions. Within 2 questions, there will be like 3 or 4 sub questions. Just if you're like confident on 2 sub questions within these 2 questions, you yourself has to figure out like which of these 2 questions I'm so confident on. I mean, like at least 1% higher confidence I have on some questions. That question you have to really take it up first. And then I would say, if you know some sub questions and other sub questions, if you don't know, I would say like leave some space for those questions. Continue with the answers, whatever you know, you just write. And then after completing all the questions which you know, come back, take time. If you want to build up your own story and write, you can do. Or if you feel that maybe I'll just write 2 points and leave this question, I don't want to waste time here, not just to write 2 points there and go. But it's not bad that you try and waste time on that now.
you just leave a proper space, maybe one side or two side for that question. Go to the sub questions, whichever you know, write all those answers first, and then come back to those sub questions which you don't know, and you can still do what, I mean, based on the time availability. If you wanted to write a lot, you can write, or else you can, like, if you wanted to keep it crisp, you can do that.
Yeah, so we will have only two last questions. Like, one person, Latik Kumar, we have given 2 attempts, November 21 and November 2022. But both the results are negative. His parents are advising him to quit to do CA. Even I doubt whether I will succeed in this attempt or not. Like that is.
Okay. So this is check which most of the CA students face. So it's not like everyone clears in the first attempt, and it's not required that you should clear everything in the first attempt also. So I know a lot of people who got rank in the third attempt also. So it's all about your confidence and your willpower. If you really wanted to do, and if you really see yourself as a chartered accountant, I would say don't quit. Give your attempt so that you don't regret future. So I mean, if you stop CAs and then after 10 or 15 years, you see some other chartered accountant and regret the decision of quitting it, then your life is going to be bad. So give your total time now itself, I would say. Give your full force. Try this. Even this attempt also, I would say, go, I mean, maybe give one group and try if you're able to do. And if you're sure that you're unable to succeed, or if you're not really fitting into this profession, I would say this is not that everyone has to do CA. I mean, there is a lot of other professions, and you would definitely have your own talent. So you can just go and you can really quit this and go there, rather than just wasting your time in CA. You can go there. But if you still believe you are a chartered accountant, I would say, like, take your time. It's not necessary that you have to complete your CA in 21 or 22 itself. Completing CA in 26 or 27 is also not bad. Any day you are going to be respected for being a CA. So that is not wrong.
So one more question for CA final self-study, suggest material. I think private materials we cannot suggest now.
I can't.
IT materials are the best for me. You can, sorry, you can say. I think private materials we cannot suggest here.
Yeah, I mean, I can't suggest any private materials, but you can see. I mean, ICA materials are really good for a lot of people. So you can, a lot of subjects, you can really go with ICA materials. Others, you should really see. I mean, which each faculty has their own materials. You can see. I mean, some of your friends would definitely be with those faculties. You can just see their book, and which really interests you, you can go with those books.
So yeah, it's already late. We have one more session, sir.
Okay.
So we are very happy to interact with you.
Thanks.
It was very, we will use all the tips and all the suggestions for my exam also. I will also use that, and the audience will also be very much beneficial.
Thanks.
I have incorporated many personal suggestions and tips which I got from you also. I will incorporate those things.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for your valuable time, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Aparna, can we introduce the next session speaker?
Yes, Hamran, as we already introduced her, Dr. Divya ma'am will be continuing the session now.
Aparna Garu, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible now. You can continue.
Okay. So, good afternoon. Actually, good afternoon became good evening by this time. Good evening, one and all. So, as this became a monotonous talks, all these speakers for the past 3 sessions, just I wanted to share my screen so that you people will have bit relaxation. Is my screen visible to you all?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Visible.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am. Visible.
Yeah. So as I have heard from the different speakers, and like many questions are being posed to the speakers regarding stress and time management in the exams and all, right? So preparation for the exams and like giving your exam, all this, like you have to have both stress, you have to help in managing both your stress and time. So today we'll be discussing about like how effectively we can manage stress as well as time. So here is overview of my presentation would be this. And first we'll be talking about what is stress and what are the different types of stress, what are the sources of stress, what are the signs and symptoms we see in the person having stress, and how to manage stress in different ways. So at this level, at the student level, probably this could be the stress in different forms. It can be, always stress cannot be in one form, right? So it have different forms. So for the students, I think like these are the different kinds of stress they had and they're facing with. And some people, like definitely no one can define what stress is. It looks this. Actually, when you see or when you face the stress, it looks like this. And in some, they try to explain it in a different forms, okay, one or the other forms, like having some physical problems or emotional problems or biological problems and all. So it can be explained in different forms like this. So what exactly you people think? Like, what do you think stress is actually?
Whoever wants to answer, raise your hands. If you want to answer, I'll unmute you.
Any one of you, please define, like, what do you think stress actually is? Okay, I'll continue.
No, ma'am.
Stress, yeah, please.
Stress is nothing but a pressure which we have, and we cannot focus on our own business, our own present business. It is a stress, I mean, like too much. I mean, like a pressure which it cannot.
Okay, you
It
mean
cannot.
you cannot pay attention and focus with the stress what you had, right? For the
Yes, ma'am.
situation you are into, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes.
stress, I think like there is no clear definition for stress, but vaguely it is defined as this. It is a reaction people have when they have excessive pressures upon them or the other types of demands which are placed upon them based on the situations. Okay, it arises, you feel stressful to the situations only when you have worry that you cannot cope with the stress or situation. So it's just wear and tear of our minds and bodies experience. Okay, generally it's the stress, I think like it's not continuous thing, right? You feel that once in a while, it's not like continually you'll be into stress. So it's just wear and tear of our minds and bodies, okay, only in an attempt to coping with the continually changing environment, that is with the different situations. Always we cannot tend to be in the same situation, right? The situations keep on changing. So based on the situations, if you are not able to cope the situation or handle the situation effectively, then only you feel stressful. So it's nothing but, for example, if you consider your exams to be a stressful situation or stressful thing, here preparation is your resource, right? If you're not well prepared for your exam, if you're not having enough resources, then you feel things to be stressful. Stress is nothing but when the pressure is more than the resources what you had, you tend to feel stressful. And it's just as the other speakers were telling, it's not only about studies or it's not only about the work we always think about, right? There should be balance between both work and your life. If you're not able to enjoy every other aspects, it's not only career, right? We tend to see life in different aspects. If everything is not met, definitely if you're focused into one single thing, that becomes stressful. So always you should maintain a balance between your work and your other aspects of life. So what do you think? Is stress always only negative? Or is there something called positive stress too? Any one of you? Is there something called positive stress?
No, ma'am. I think, in my opinion, there is only negative. And if it is positive stress, and it may push up to achieve our own goals, but if we having the stress, it doesn't push up, ma'am.
Yeah, good. See, as you are telling, positive stress is nothing but it will keep us motivating, as you all were asking, or you're posing your questions to the speakers. It's always you are worried about your exams, you are worried why you need to give so many exams and all. So what I feel is, if you doesn't have any exam, okay, you'll never be motivated to go to the next level, right? So always when you have your exams, so that tends to act as a step to push you into a motivated end. It always keeps you spurring, motivated, and keep you aware that you are on the right path or not. It always provides you some stimulation to handle the situation. For example, if there are no exams, or if you're not having any kind of stress, can you learn to handle that? No, right? So whenever you are faced with certain stressful situation, you'll better know how you have to handle that the next time you face into the same stressful situation. So positive stress is nothing but if you try adapting, or if you try learning to handle the stressful situation, so that can act as a positive stress, so that it will help you in moving to the next level. And if you consider that as a negative stress, for example, if you're considering exams as a negative stress, if you're not prepared well, if you're not cleared with a good rank in your exams and all, obviously that becomes very stressful, and you feel depressed, you feel low, you feel sad, you feel frustrated. And gradually, once this psychological or emotional stress gradually leads into a physical stress or physical complaints, and finally you present with some physical complaints like headaches, digestive problems like gastritis, indigestion, sleep problems, skin problems. You present with many other physical conditions. So initially, to start with, it can be only emotional stress, but gradually, like over a period of time, definitely it turns out to be into a physical stress. So coming to this negative and after this negative and positive stress, we'll see what are the sources of stress. Do you think always stress is only external? Is it only the external factors which causes stress? Or is there something called internal factors that can affect? Any one of you?
Ma'am, especially when we're speaking about sources of stress, internal is more, ma'am, and compared to external. If we have exams, there will be some stress. Okay, we have to prepare, and that the end date is coming, the due date is coming.
Exam definitely it's an external stress, but where comes the
If
internal
you won't
stress?
prepare for the exam on a pre-planned basis, the stress may be internal.
Yeah, obviously the way, the perspective, the way you see the exams, the perception of yours towards the exam, that acts as the internal stress. So this is something called as, there is something called as eustress and distress. Okay, as we were talking, if it is something positive, if you are taking the exam as a positive, or if you are taking the stressful situation as a positive, it keeps you motivated, it keeps you focused, and it's very short time. Once like you try to learn how to handle the situation, it's gone. The next time you'll be very prepared to face the situation, right? And you feel very excited, and it will help you in coping, in building you the positive coping skills, and it will definitely improve your performance. For example, if you are giving your SEM test, or like if you're giving your class test or assignments, definitely if you'll know, right? If you're giving your exam, you'll know what are the strong areas where you are, what are the weak areas, and what you need to do better to get a good rank. So this will help you in preparing yourself more precisely. You can be like more defined in giving your exams for the next level of exams, like for example, if it's assignments, then to your SEM exams, then to your final exams. So in that way, level to level, if you are considering that as a positive stress, if you are considering exam as a positive stress, that definitely helps you in building your positive reinforcement towards achieving your goal. It keeps you motivated, and it helps you in improving your performance. But if you consider that exam, like for example, you're not at all prepared, you have a zero preparation for the exam, so obviously that is a distress. It gives nothing but anxiety, it gives nothing but depression, it gives nothing but you feel very low, right? And it always makes you demotivated. For example, if your exam, like if your results come out and if you're on a borderline, or like if you're on average, definitely that helps you in pushing to the other above average level. But if you're not getting even the minimal marks, definitely that gives you demotivation, or like a motivation, or like it tends to go into the other side of the extreme, like and it helps in decreasing. Okay, it deteriorates your performance, or it keeps you very bad. It keeps you very low and all. And as we were discussing, external sources are nothing but considering the physical environment, like the all other physical sound, light, heat. Like for example, if you're writing your exam, and if you're in a very dark, gloomy room, and it's very hot, can you give your exams properly? Definitely, external factors also will have a very good impact. So you have to consider good food, good sleep, and like lighting. If it's like too dull or too bright, you cannot take that, right? So first, when you're preparing for exams, you must see that your physical environment you are into, the external sources of the environment what you're having need to be corrected first. Okay, that keeps you motivated, that keeps you boost your energy to prepare for the exams. And coming to the internal sources, as we were discussing, your pessimistic thinking, or like your rigid thinking, or like anticipating the result before you give your exam, all these are internal sources of stressor. What I feel is, if you're giving your exam, the best thing what we can do is 100% effort. We'll give our 100% effort, we'll put our 100% effort and prepare for the exam, but we can never anticipate the result, right? Because it all depends on the day of the exam, how is your health, how is your mood, and like the external examiner who is going to address your papers, how is his mood, how is his physical and psychological health. All these matters, right? The only thing we can control, like there'll be some things which can be under our control, and some things which cannot be controlled by us. Somehow you are not you don't have any access, or like you cannot control the examiner's mood, or like other issues, right? So the things what we are under our control is putting our 100% effort, giving exam to our best and all. So what I suggest is, put your 100% effort, give your exam, but never anticipate the result. If you're anticipating the result, it causes nothing but stress. And coming to the external stressors, as I was speaking, physical environment, that definitely plays a role, and social interactions. Like for example, if you are very anxious personality, or if you are very so asociable, like if you're not able to mingle easily with others, if you are having less social interactions, you'll have difficulty in communication, in giving your presentations and all. So definitely in your practical exams, the social interactions and communication skills definitely matters, right? If you're not up to the mark in communicating yourself to others, if you're not having good social interaction, definitely that have a bad impact on your exams, and that need to be corrected. And coming to the organizational stressors, definitely I understand this is something related to the management end. You'll have your targets, your assignments, your deadlines, you'll be having different things, right? So what I feel is, if you're clearing everything on time, and if you're organizing, if you're prioritizing, if you're scheduling things, that becomes easy. But if you feel that stressful, definitely you, like for clearing your exams, you need to follow the rules and regulations of the organization or institution, right? And you have to consider that as like considering that rather than a negative stress, if you try considering that as a positive stress, and if you try following the rules and regulations of the organization, that definitely that may not be happy, that may not make you peaceful and happy at that point of time, but at the later, at the bigger future, if you see for your exams and all, definitely you'll come out with the good results if you have like enough resources, and if you plan everything on time. And coming to this major life events, I just want to ask a question, what could be the major life events you expect to be a stress? Any one of you?
Death of a favorite person, ma'am.
Death, okay. Is marriage a stress or not? I think
For
you people are
students, how
not
can a
till
marriage
at the
be a
age of
stress?
marriage, but I want to ask a question. Is marriage a stress or not?
Yes,
Why?
we have many responsibilities to take under, and that
If-
under we
Yeah,
are
good. So definitely, see any major event like death or marriage, or like promotion, job promotion, or if you're fired out from your job, any kind of major life events which is considered to you.
okay, that have like some of the other impact, right? Like some audience were posing a questions like how to manage the family, how to manage the personal life, how to manage the studies parallelly. It's being asked, right? So you have to set the priority first. Okay, what's first important and what's next important. Once you start prioritizing things, then that makes you easy. So all these major life events, definitely every person, I don't think no person in this world is stress free. Okay, but the thing is, one person will have in one form and the other person will have in the other form. So all these things, all the external stressors, we can try to minimal, because internal thing, I think like it will be more difficult than considering the external stressors. So external stressors can be handled or like can be focused much than the internal stressors. And your daily hassles, like your daily routine, for example, you coming to your college on time, do you think it's a stress?
No, ma'am.
Why no? Definitely, if you're not waking up on time. So if you need to rush, if you need to go in a bus, if you're having a traffic, if you cannot go on time, or if your institute people do not consider your late entry. So all these things can be external stressors, right? So these things can be minimized so easily rather than, or like compared to the internal stressors, external stressors can be minimized easily. So coming to the job, like actually this is for the doctors and for the students. For example, if you consider yours as a job, so studying itself is a job for you, right? So long studying hours and like the emotional work, like friends or like relationships, breakups, you'll be having a lot of things, bullying between your friends and all, right? So these all comes under the emotional workup. And if you are not able to balance both your studies and the family, for
Yes,
example,
ma'am.
you have the exam next day and your mother asks to take her out or something, definitely she gets offended if you doesn't take, right? So you should try to balance between these. Whenever you're not having balance between this personal life and the professional life, definitely that acts as a stress. And multitasking, some people tend to do, as you're telling, I doesn't know much clearly about your papers and all, but from the other speakers, when I had heard and from the questions what you post, I could only see that there are something called articles and something called theory exams, right? You need to do that parallelly. That is what I understood. So this is called multitasking, right? So when you want to do multitasking, I think like you need to spend more time, more effort, you need to put more effort compared to the other professional groups. For example, engineering students, I don't think they'll have much difficulty. Even the day before the exams, if they open the book, I think like they can clear their exam, right? It is that easy for them. But I don't think in a medical profession like ours and some CA profession like yours, I don't think it's so easy to clear the exams. So you try to minimize that multitasking, like or like make it very brief. Like if you wanted to clear both, for example, if you wanted to parallelly focus on both, you set some time for that and you schedule yourself the timing and priority of what is first and what is next, and based on the priority you set the goals. Okay. And having responsibilities and decision making skills, as like I could see many questions. So what is the thing, like how I have to prepare, what is the short notes, what is the material? So the basic guidance, I think like you'll get from the your institution or organization, right? And the other thing, like definitely your speakers like who spoke, all our CAs, I think definitely they'll help you out. So what are the things, like what are the highest priorities or like basic things you can get from them, you can get the guidance from them and follow accordingly. And if you have fear of failure, like as someone was telling, like I have given one attempt, I have given 4 attempts, I'm feared about the 5th attempt. So fear of failure, that's what the only thing we can do is we cannot change our results, we cannot modify our results, we cannot manipulate our results, right? The only thing is we can put our 100% effort and give our exams, and the results are not up to us, right? And anticipating the negative result or fearing of failure, definitely that acts as a stress. And this in increasing competitive world, definitely this is tough, I agree. But the thing is, definitely when you're giving your exams, you'll know what are the weak areas, what are the strong areas, where you need to focus much, in which ways you need to correct. So for every exam you give, you need to take the weakness and strengthness into your exams, and you need to keep that in your mind and then prepare for your next exam. So coming to your internal stresses, obviously being college life and getting into your graduation, I think like many students will be having different lifestyle choices, like smoking, they'll get into smoking, alcohol, and like all kinds of substances, and your food style, food diet changes, your sleep hours changes. So I think like all these will have some of the other effect on your bodily system also. So that lifestyle choices need to be addressed and need to be focused and need to be corrected. And coming to the internal stressors, as we were discussing, negative self-talk, that is having pessimistic thinking or feeling low of yourself, or underestimating yourself, or feeling that you cannot do anything, you don't have skills to clear that, you don't have skills to get into a good rank. So all this negative viewing of self need to be corrected actually. And mind traps, some people will be having this obsessional and a very rigid thinking, right? Even like now, even they have grown up and they have been into the graduation, they still tends to act like children, and like they'll have very rigid forms of thinking, like in either in normal friendship or like communication or in relationships and all. So these all things need to be addressed, because somehow you are very career oriented. What I found is like all of you are very career oriented compared to engineering students. I think like definitely your focus is completely on clearing the exam and all. So I don't think like you'll be having other aspects which will intrude you or like interrupt you into this. But definitely if there are anything like that, you need to address those and you need to clear that first, because if you're having something, if you're preoccupied with something else, I think definitely that will be difficult for you to give to clear or like to focus on your exams. Say, as I told you, your lifestyle, like if your sleep, your diet, your caffeine and all gets like, if you're using the other substances and all, definitely there'll be impact on your focus and attention. And this pessimistic way of thinking, self-criticizing or over-analyzing the situations. So before things happen, you start analyzing, over-analyzing, magnifying things, right? So that need not be done. That should not be done actually. So unrealistic expectations. And if you're like, what I feel is like all of us by this time will know what exactly our capability is, what exactly our capacity is. So based on the capacity what we had, we need to give our exams and we need to clear that. But if your preparation is very low and if you are expecting all India rank, or like if you are wanting to be the top, definitely I think that that will be the unrealistic expectations, right? So the work what we do, the effort what we keep should match with the result what we anticipate. Okay. And taking things personally, sometimes if you are not, if you, for example, if you have done very good in your exams, if you have put your 100% effort, you have studied a lot, but still when you give your exams, if the result is negative, definitely many people take things that so personally that they feel like, no, I shouldn't study, this is not like what I have prepared, this is not my result, this is my fate, definitely I want to give up. All these things, they'll fix their mind that it's not for them. So definitely that should not be the thing, because it happens once in a while. As I told you, it's not only on the exam or like the person like who gives his exam, but also the person who is clearing or like correcting your papers and giving the result, right? It definitely matters. Both of them have to work hand in hand to get a good result. But if that's not happening, if there is a great disparity between the both, definitely that thing comes out to be negative. So you not consider all those things personally, which will have bad effect on your next exams or like stepping into your next level. And all or none thinking, it's like everything is done or like nothing is done, and exaggerating yourself and sticking onto the same thing and being very rigid in your thinking. All this tend to be the stressors, all this tend to be the internal stressors for the situations. And as I told you, external stressors are something which can be handled or modulated or manipulated very easily, but internal stress definitely that will take some time. Okay. And coming to the symptoms of stress, as I told you early, like it will be only the emotional factors or emotional signs or symptoms you will be having, like feeling low, feeling sad, feeling dull, feeling frustrated and all. But later in your life, if that stress continues to be for some more time, Okay, you'll have your bodily symptoms also, your headaches, like appetite changes, sleep changes, or like you'll have your heart rate, high heart rate. Like if for example, if you're going to exam, before you go to your exam, you feel like something is like butterflies in your stomach, you feel like your heart rate is high and all, right? This is all because when you're under stress, your sympathetic system of your body will be overactive. That is the reason you'll have all these physical symptoms. And as the other speaker, I think Nikhil was telling, right, you should have adequate sleep, adequate diet and all before the exams. Really, that is important, because when you are preparing for so many things, because it's not our brain, I think like its capacity is very short, right? But the thing is, you load many subjects or many, I mean like lot of material into the brain, right? But if you're not having proper sleep, and if you're not having proper food, definitely on the day of the exam, okay, once you have proper sleep, in the sleep, everything what we have studied, okay, will be memorized, will be organized into different file formats. Okay, like for example, in your laptop, if you're putting all the folders on the desktop, it will be hard to retrieve, right? If you're having like different specific folders, and if you mention the folders, and into that folders if you're having the material, that will be easy to retrieve, right? So in the same way, if you're having proper diet and proper sleep during exams, or like every day normally, if you consider, so that will definitely help in organizing the content what you studied or the content what you memorized into different folds, which will be easy for you to retrieve in your exams. So definitely you have to make a note that sleep and diet are very important during exam times. Okay, and when you feel stressed, obviously you feel very angry, you feel very low, you feel easily overwhelmed, you will have difficulty in focusing, you'll have difficulty in paying attention, irritability, crying, and lack of energy. So as I told you, you'll have bodily, like it can present in any way. The symptoms, if you are under stress, it can present with the bodily symptoms, with the emotional symptoms, or we'll have changes in our behavior, we'll have changes in our hello చెప్పండి. Okay. So you can have like any of these changes, bodily changes, emotional changes, behavioral changes, and changes in your cognitive functions, like your thinking gets impaired, your judgment gets impaired, your decision making gets impaired and all. So these were the things I told you. See here, cognition, definitely cognition is very important to prepare for your exams. So definitely if you are under stress, your cognition gets affected, you feel like you don't have proper attention, concentration, you'll be having many preoccupied irrational thoughts into your brain, and you'll feel very confused. So what is the thing you need to do? So as everyone were talking, stress need to be managed, right? Only if you could manage stress, you could deal with any situation like exams. So you have to set the proper realistic goals, not unexpected or like mismatched expectations. You, as we were discussing, the physical activity is also very important. Like your body and your mind needs to have proper exercise. That will definitely help you in getting out of this stress. Whenever you feel very stressful, there are some exercises called Jacobson's progressive muscle relaxation. I think like if you type in the Google, you'll get that. And practicing that exercises will definitely help you out in your anxieties and in your low moods and all. And you have to set priorities, you have to maintain your food and diet, you have to avoid the extremities. So as I was telling, you have to fix the targets where you can do things normally, and you have to practice some relaxation techniques. And these are the some tips to relieve stress at your workplace, or with the things like with your exams and all. What I suggest is what kind of physical activity you like or you are interested in need to be done. It's not like what I suggest and you need to do. So it's only like when you enjoy the thing what you're doing, it helps you out, right? So definitely these can be different types of stress management therapies. You can follow any of the one where you are interested in. So definitely you should have time for yourself. It's not only always career, right? You should have like some personal space, personal time. You should try relaxing yourself, like keep enjoying things. So every aspect, so you have to give time for everything. So what I say is stress and time go hand in hand. If you are stressful, you couldn't manage your time. If you couldn't manage your time, then you are under stress. So you need to learn how to effectively manage your time also. So it's like managing effectively. Okay, so at what time you have to do that activity, and you at what time you have to prioritize, and based on that how effectively you can manage time is really important. These are some questionnaire, I think, like this slide share will be shared to you so that you can answer this. Here is some scoring system. So if it's like if your score is it's written here always, or sometimes you feel this, or never you feel this. Never is 0, and sometimes is 1, and 1 is, and 2 is always. And here is a scoring system. If you get score of 45 to 50, it's like you're having excellent time management. It's 30 to 45, you're having fairly well timely management. If it's 0 to 30, you need to improve in managing your time. So it's all because we need to save time, we need to reduce stress, we need to function effectively, and we need to increase the work output. Okay, this is the reason we need to manage time. So these are some of the things: effective planning and setting goals, objectives, and prioritizing, delegating, and spending the right time on the right activity. So what are the hours where you are energetic and highly active? Those need to be focused. And what is the toughest subject? You need to focus on the toughest subject when you are very active, that is during early hours of your day. So proper planning, organizing, this thing is already mentioned. And this is all about it's always cost your time, because like you need to know how effective or like how important your time is. You have to maintain the activity logs, you have to set your goals, there should be proper planning, you have to prioritize things, and based on that you have to schedule your day. This is all the same, it's in detail. Okay, so always the situation becomes odd if you don't manage your time, as you know, because you will have very difficulty in clearing your exams. Definitely, if you cannot follow time management, it will be difficult for you to clear the exams, right? This is very important for you. So any questions? Thank you all for your patience listening. Any questions?
And someone has asked here, like, I'm a person who tends to get anxiety and feel panicked easily. How to manage that?
Actually, there'll be some criteria, some diagnostic criteria, and if they meet the criteria based on the level of anxiety they had, level of the symptoms what they had, whether they have to be given medication treatment, or like it's only they can be under some psychotherapies. There'll be a psychotherapist called cognitive behavioral therapy, like as I was mentioning, some progressive relaxation exercises. So whether psychotherapy is enough, or like they need to be put on some treatment, that will be decided once we see them.
Ma'am, and also how to concentrate on exams if we are surrounded with our family problems which cannot be shared to anyone. Can you provide a solution for this?
Yeah, that's what here, as you were telling, definitely every one of us will have some of the other stress, but concentrating on the exams even in the stressful situations, because that is your priority, right? Apart from all the other family problems you're facing, what is the priority you have? Exams or the family issues? You have to prioritize, and based on that you have to focus. And if there are any other family issues or like interpersonal problems within the family, I think like better you communicate and address that, and that get that cleared, so that your preoccupation will come down, so that you can focus much on the exam.
What is the reason for heart attack nowadays?
Yeah, that's what, as I was telling, when you are under stressful situations, so normally due to these early lifestyle changes, what we have made. We doesn't have much physical activity, right? It's all be sit most of the time, and our heart rate, resting heart rate, is always between 70 to 90, right? And if you're not doing any kind of physical activity, once you had any form of stress, that is, it can be a physical stress or a psychological stress. For example, if you're giving much pressure to your body, like going to the gym and working out for long hours, or if you're having some psychological exams like stress, family issues and all, so definitely in that stressful situation, your sympathetic system becomes overactive and your heart rate goes to 100, 120 and all. So if you're not training your heart to go to that level, definitely your heart rate keeps pounding and you'll develop panic attacks and all. So the best thing is, definitely every one of us should do some of the other physical activity what we are interested in for minimum of 30 minutes in a day.
Ma'am, next one.
Both with your anxieties and panic attacks. Yeah.
During the days of exams, I face with indigestion, and as soon as I come back from home, I omit every meal. How to overcome this?
Yeah, that is what, as I was telling, this is also related to your sympathetic system. Your sympathetic system becoming overactive, your HCl production in the stomachs goes high. That is the reason you'll having gastritis, indigestion, bloating and all. Definitely, when we are going to the exams, if your mother feed you biryani, definitely no one of us will have, right? Because already, because of the stress, exam stress, we'll have all these symptoms of hypersympathetic activity. That is the reason we'll have. And that thing, I think, like, you can manage, like if you're feeling more anxious, you can take medication, or if you're really into that stressful situations, you can take some PPIs, proton pump inhibitors or antacids, early in the morning before you go to your exam.
Ma'am, next one. What food to eat to focus and study?
It's not that there is specific food like what you need to follow. That the only thing is, when you eat like high calorie diet, like if you are having too oily food and all, that will make you feel more like all the blood supply will go to your stomach once you had your lunch or breakfast and all. That is the reason you cannot focus much on your subject, like studying or like giving your exam. So any diet which is very light, that need to be taken. And as I told you, definitely you should not skip your food and the sleep before night of your exam.
Ma'am, you told practice one technique to manage stress and see them in YouTube. Can you please tell it once again clearly?
Yeah, that is Jacobson's progressive muscle relaxation, that is called as JPMR exercises.
Thank you, ma'am. And the next, how to focus on exams if parents are suggesting to quit due to repeated failures?
Yeah, that's what that is how confident you are. And like you need to, because like parents, I don't think our generation and their generation, the competition between these two generations in giving exams is entirely different, right? So you need to make them sit, explain them the situation and what things are going on, and like how you are preparing for the exams and what is the reason for your failure. You need to explain them, you need to make them understand, you need to convince them. If that is not the case, you need to get them to us. We are the better ones to explain.
How to avoid procrastination, ma'am?
How to avoid?
Procrastination.
I couldn't hear you. Procrastination.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that is what I'm telling. If you manage your time and your stress hand in hand, I don't think definitely that will have problem, right? So a negative anticipation, negative anticipation of the consequences, negative anticipation of the results, that itself make you feel more stressful. That is the reason I want you to put your 100% effort, but not think about the results or anticipate about the results.
Exam is at 2 p.m. When to have food, like at what time is appropriate?
Okay, that is what, always the food what you have, you make sure that you'll have more protein content. Like if you're having lunch, for example, rice and curry, so you have to make sure that the protein content or like curry will be more and carbohydrate will be less. Okay, you make sure that carbohydrate and protein are balanced, and you try to avoid that ketone or like fatty foods and all. That's all.
Can we do night outs before a week of our exams?
That's what you can do. But what I feel is whatever you study the day, throughout the day, what you study, that gets organized into a file form in your some parts of your brain. Okay, so if you're doing that night outs also, that should be very specific. It should be like at least you should make sure that you'll sleep 6 hours in a day. Minimum should be 6 hours in a day. Then only that'll help you. Otherwise, even if you try studying something high or like for long hours, that doesn't help you in retrieving or like rememorizing the content what you study.
Tips for quick relief of headache.
So stop thinking. So that is what usually when we think a lot, we tend to develop these headaches, right? So what I feel is like focus on the things what you have, and before that you have to rule out all the organic causes you need to check your site. You need to make sure that your room is like not too dark or too bright and all. You need to follow, like if all other things are okay, and if you're having headaches only because of the stress, then definitely you need to know or learn or the positive coping skills to handle the situation.
Can you suggest any technique for being focused on while studying without getting distractions?
Using the stopwatches and like, so like initially if you start your preparation, I think like you have to prepare your schedule first, and once you prepare the schedule for the exams, you have to prepare day schedule or activity schedule for the day, and you need to keep on check like every 1 hour. Like for example, if it's difficult for you to keep on check, or like if you keep like whether you're on your right track or not, you can use a stopwatch. So whenever you start a question, you can put that stopwatch, and like you need to see, you need to read the question, and you need to make sure that at the end of the 1 hour the stopwatch clicks, right? So you'll know like at what point or like how much you have completed, and for the next question how much you have to cut down and how you have to prepare it.
Is there any technique better than Pomodoro, ma'am?
Is there any technique better than?
I don't know what he meant. It is Pomodoro.
It's in the question section, right?
Yes, ma'am. It's the last question.
Last question. Pomodoro. Is there any technique better than Pomodoro? I didn't get his. Okay. Definitely. That Pomodoro definitely helps, but it's like as I was telling, delegating or like making. If you're having a big question, for example, a 10 marks question, once you cut down that to your short questions, or if you make that short sentences, that will be easy to remember or like memorize. So if you make that short, you can interlink and interconnect to different things, so that there will be a more chance that you can focus, or like you can retrieve and regain or refocus on the things what you learn and reproduce in your exams. I don't think like it's every technique will have like different results and different benefits. We cannot compare one technique with the other.
Can we get your personal number? Actually, I want to discuss personal chronic stress issues.
Definitely. I'll provide that.
Yeah. And can mnemonics help in retrieving?
Definitely. See, using this mnemonics and like interlinking the things to see, like for example, if you're having different subjects when you're reading, if you link one subject to the other, definitely that help. In your sections, you're all were talking about the sections, right? In the sections and all, if you want to remember the quotes or the sections, definitely if you relate something to the past things, or like your current things, or your names, or your family numbers, or your phone numbers, if you're linking to some or the other, they'll definitely help you. And the other thing is discussion. Discussing the content what you read will definitely help you rather than doing it singly.
Is it advisable to cut off human interactions while preparations, as conversing with friends leads to comparability, which is unavoidable?
Yeah, see, that is how you take. That is what I'm telling. If you feel that the interaction with the other persons will boost you and will help you in clearing the next exam or like answering in the next exam, you can do that. If that's really, if you're really anxious personality, if a person is too anxious, definitely he'll have that negative. If the friend or person gives negative feedback, this will be carried further and he'll have the impact on the next exam. It is on the person whom you interact and how you take, what is your perspective towards the answer the other person is giving. Based on that, you should decide whether you need to cut off or like continue conversating.
Please recommend how many hours can be better without a break.
Actually, what I know is it's only 40 minutes. The brain can hear or like brain can understand without saturation. The brain can perfectly understand the things and help in memorizing the things. So for every 40 minutes, you need to have a short break. So that only can help you in rejuvenating and start preparing for the next question.
That's all with the questions here. Ma'am, I'm not able to grasp anything due to stress. What to do?
Yeah, that is what you need to increase your attention and focus. That only when you are managing your time effectively, you can control your stress. And once your stress is under control, definitely you can improve your focus and attention.
Okay, that's all the questions for now. Is anyone else having any more questions? I guess that's it. Ma'am, do you want to say anything else, ma'am?
Yeah, nothing else. Thank you all for your patient listening, and thank you, Aparna Garu, for giving this opportunity and helping me share this platform so that I could interact with your students.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was really a great session, and that was really a great help to every one of us here to know how it helps and how it happens. It's really great to know everything. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
And everyone, I hope we get your feedback in the group so that we can do it better from the next time.
Sure,
Thank you all
sure.
for your participation until now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all.
You can all leave the meeting. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes. What you want then? I'm sleeping now. Hmm.